Hey, welcome to another beautiful Thursday. We are live. This is Party with Pete on WDWNT. Thank you for joining me. I am very excited for today's show. I've had a rough morning here in my personal life, but this show is picking me up. On today's show, we are talking eating and drinking around the world showcase, something I feel like I am pretty knowledgeable about. And we also have Carol, the piano lady, you could call her, the hat lady, you could call her, but she is the very talented pianist over in the Rose and Crown pub in the UK Pavilion, and she is going to be joining us at 12:30 today, and we're going to keep her on the show as long as possible. She's going to play music. We're going to talk her 20-year career at Disney, all the way from Pleasure Island to the UK and the Grand Floridian and everywhere else she's played piano on property. It's going to be an awesome show, and joining me right out of the gate is one of my I guess we can call her our regulars, but one of my faves. We have Miss Allison. Allison, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me to the party.
Of course. It is nice of you to be here. Right? Thanks for joining me. As always, I got to give a big shout out.
World shirt, by the way.
I love that you have the Epcot shirt. I was debating on which shirt to wear today, and my little Party Pete logo is hiding it, but it's okay because I love that logo. I got my Pleasure Island Tonight shirt on. That's where Carol got her start with the Disney company. Not her start musically for sure, but with her start with the Disney company. I have to give a shout out to all of our fans who show up early and my extended family here on Thursdays. DZ Studios, James, Michael, David, Mary, Kate, Joel, More Beverly. Oh, and also very nice. I got your email and comments, More Beverly, and that was very kind of you. Thank you. Carl, I believe Carl is from the UK. I'm pretty sure. Am I right, Carl? I'm just doing this from memory at this point. Penguin Project, Phenomenal Brandy. Who else do we got? We got Alyssa in there. We got Paul in there. Paul also always saying such nice things. So thanks so much, Paul. Everyone says nice things, but I'm just Courtney, of course, is in the house. I don't know if I said David. We got Darren. We got Rebecca. We got Alyssa. We got What's Diz, and everyone else. I'm going to catch up in the chat, but thank you for joining me. I love when you guys are here, and you're on time, which is something that I'm usually not. So thank you for being better than me. As they said in the chat, if you haven't heard, and we're going to discuss this in a little bit, but WDWNT Live is coming to a close at the end of the month. Starting in June, we're going to go back to kind of our regular programming. If you are unaware and you're a new viewer, we've been doing 2 live shows a day, every day, since the parks have been pretty much shut down. So there has been a ton of content we've been putting out, including the Party with Pete here. So we do have at least 3 more shows. There are other things in the works and things, I guess we could dive right in. I don't know the history of this show. I don't know the history of any show. We know that some shows may stick around. Some shows may make surprise little comebacks here and there, maybe a little one-off here or one-off there.
There's some really popular ones.
Yeah, and some shows you might see even merged. You might even see new shows that didn't make it to WDWNT Live that were being discussed before the quarantine pop up after this. So there's going to be a big shakeup, a big mix-up. I do appreciate all the love, all the comments. And if you've liked the show, let me know. Shoot me an email. I'll make sure Tom sees all of them, but my email is pete@wdwnt.com. Let me know what you think of the show. You can also send in suggestions. There's still 3 weeks left. Let me know what you want to hear, what you want to talk about. We still have 9 hours, people. That's lots of time to talk and hang out. So shoot me those emails. Let me know what you thought about the show throughout this live period, and I'll make sure those get to the right people as well. Or just say hi. Store my email. Shoot me an email. We'll be buddies. So yeah, that's kind of my hot take. Let's talk about these live shows. So Allison, you've been on a lot of the shows.
Yeah.
What do you think was going to happen around here? I have some opinions, but I'll let you go first here.
There are definitely a few that have gotten like really strong responses. Pressing Issues is easily one of the ones that has just an absolute ton of views. I think it's a really well done show. And I would like to see that stick around, and I know a lot of our viewers want to see that stick around. So I think that's a big one. But there's definitely a lot more. Do you have one that really sticks out to you besides Party with Pete, obviously?
No, I mean, I've enjoyed doing the show a lot. I've also been on Eric's show a lot, and I love Locked In because he does the Disney death matches.
Yeah.
I like that. I mean, the Butters cam is hysterical and also very cute. So I like what he's done, and he's, I think, has done a great job. The audience likes him a lot, and he's fun and laid back. Pressing Issues, I agree, is great. I've loved a lot of the shows. I mean, I've done, I've watched over this period, I've done Deep in the Plus, I've done The Wolf Den, I've done,
I love that one.
Obviously, the Park Centers will be sticking around. I've done a lot of shows. I mean, we obviously, the Thursday night WDW News Tonight will stick around. I've done those. I don't know. And again, I'm not Tom, and Tom has mentioned things to me in passing, but then Tom has also said things to me that have contradicted his original comments, and then he's gone back. So I don't know what's going on up there, but I do know is that Tom listens to his audience, and I think we're going to go back and check the numbers. You guys have been great with me here. We've had a very strong audience, but we'll see what's going to happen. Also, I don't know if I can do a show Thursday mornings once the parks and life gets back to normal. So I think we have to check with the different personalities and different shows and see what times will work when life hopefully gets back to normal. And also when people go back to work full time, they might not be able to watch these shows during the day. So it might be impractical. So we have to kind of figure out, we only have so many nights, Park Centers on Wednesday nights, News Tonight's on Thursday nights. Pressing Issues, I am assuming, will stick around for Sunday nights.
Friday nights? Oh, Sunday nights.
Sunday nights, yeah. And then we'll see. I mean, we have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, still Cosmic Read. He's had a great show, too. The watch-alongs have done well, so there's going to be time for watch-alongs. Ride Rehab has done very well. I mean, I love a lot of these shows. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens here. But again, let us know what you liked. And it doesn't just have to be my show. If you want to shoot me an email and say what shows have been some of your favorites, I will make sure that gets to Tom.
100%. We want to give you what you want to see. Like, there might be some shows that we really enjoy and a lot of people enjoy too, but there might be certain ones that get such a strong response that we have to say to ourselves, oh, let's keep these because a lot of people are letting us know. We do listen to your feedback 100%. So let us know.
Yeah, feedback plays a huge role. Tom will listen to his audience first, so that is a big deal around here. Hey, Jordan's in the chat. Straight Cash Homie, I love that name. That's so great, Straight Cash Homie. Jared's in there. What's up, Jared? Yeah, so anyway, so that covers kind of the WDWNT Live. If you do have questions about that, I'll try to answer them as best I can without getting myself in too much trouble. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, so today also is big news here in Orlando, where City Walk is reopening today.
Yes.
Yeah, so Disney Springs opens next Wednesday. City Walk opens today. I think I'm going to take a drive over there and check it out. I kind of want to see the crowd, so I'm going to head over there. And then Disney Springs opens next Wednesday. Do you have any plans for these places when they open, or are you kind of sitting back and waiting, Allison? What's your plan?
I'm tend to err more towards the side of like, let me kind of step back and let me see, even though I so desperately really want to go to these places. Like, I want to go to City Walk day it opens, but will I? I don't know. I just kind of I kind of want to see what WDWNT like reports, because like if you all are like, okay, we were there, this is what was happening, this is how we felt, like I fully trust everybody's opinion. I know that you are going to Springs. Was it Wineboard George that you're going to be going to?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing for WNT. I have to talk to Tom because I don't know what the reporters are doing. But I know I personally plan on being at Springs opening day on the 20th, just to kind of walk around, get a vibe, see what's happening, breathe in some of that Disney energy. And on the 22nd, me and Eric and our significant others have reservations at Wine Bar George. We wanted to try to eat somewhere. So that is a week from tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. So I mean, that's my plan. I will follow all the rules and precautions. I'm not. I mean, I'm not trying to be this like, hey, everyone leave your house kind of person. But if they're going to open up and they have rules and restrictions, I'm going to follow them and I'm going to go check it out.
Sure. Sure.
I'm excited for things to reopen. I really want to get back to normal life. This has been a struggle for me as someone who feeds off people. I do not enjoy screens, hence why I'm not a big fan of Universal. But even screens at home, this is fun and nice, and this has been a nice, I mean, this is why I love Thursdays and Wednesday nights, and I have more fun on this show, and it's kept me going because sitting at home with just computers and emails, a couple of Zoom calls here and there, and trying to, find some work through all this has been rough. So I can't wait just to be around people. I feed off that energy. So this is big for me, things reopening. So yeah, today I think I'm for sure at some point I'm going to go check out City Walk over at Universal and just kind of see what's happening over there. And of course I will be in Springs on opening day. Do you have a guess? What do you think is going to be the timeline? Because and I talked about this on Park Center last night, is I said Disney pretty much gives you 2 weeks. They gave, before the May 11th date, Shanghai, they gave you 2 weeks saying we're going to open on May 11th with these precautions. 2 weeks ago, they said we're going to open on the 20th, 2 weeks from the 20th. They gave exactly 2 weeks saying we're going to open Springs. Then yesterday they said Disney stores are going to open the week after, which was exactly 2 weeks, which is the 27th, I believe. Yeah. So, I mean, technically, Disney doesn't, if they're going to open on June 1st, they don't have to say anything until the 18th. I mean, they could wait even longer, but I'm assuming, would say something around them. They have reservations still available for dining starting June 1st. They haven't canceled resort reservations for June 1st yet either.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your take here? You think they're waiting till right up to the last minute, or are they going to cancel it soon? Are they going to open up? What do you think is going to happen here?
I actually have reservations for June 1st at California Grill, and I haven't been given any kind of notification that I know of. Maybe they emailed my husband, but he hasn't told me anything about it. So we're still going to keep those reservations. We're going to see what happens. Like maybe in a couple of days, they're going to push it back or cancel it. Who knows? But, I was ready to go out June 1st because I feel like Disney, they're going to I feel like they're gonna do it right. They want to make sure that their customers safety is number one. And then you got customer service and you have show, etc. So if I'm going to go someplace and feel comfortable taking that step outside my house for the first time, I feel like going to a Disney resort is going to be the place to go. They're going to make sure everything is proper. As far as timeline's concerned, I don't know. It's tough because things could change in 2 weeks. Things could change so quickly in a month. If I had to take a guess, things like a month from now, you start to see so many more options and so many more things opening up, because from day to day, you're constantly saying, oh, that's opening. Oh, wait, that's opening in a couple of days. But again, a month and a half ago, I didn't know I was going to be in this position. So we'll see. I am hoping for the best.
I just saw on our website the last story just published. I didn't look in the last hour or so because I've been running around like a madman here. Like I said, it's been a crazy morning here in my home. But I guess they are canceling through June 6th at this point. Walt Disney World Resort guests with resort hotel bookings during the week of May 31st through June 6th are receiving notification that their stays are being impacted by temporary closures. And they may modify or cancel their Disney Resort hotel reservations or travel company packages if you got it through your travel agent. Guests who didn't book directly with Disney should contact their travel professional. So that's resort bookings, but that doesn't say anything about dining. So I guess you can't stay there, but I'm curious if they're going to open restaurants at Springs, will they start opening the restaurants at the resorts, even though there's no guests staying in the rooms? That's interesting. Through the 6th. Okay. Man, that means I lose a bet. I had a bet for any time. I made a bet 2 months ago for June 3rd or earlier, and I really thought I had a chance. Oh, man.
I'm sure a lot of people did. A lot of people thought that.
Yeah. All right. It's weird. So I can't wait. You have to keep me posted. I mean, also personally, just text me or whatever, because I want to know about that June 1st reservation, because they're now not accepting reservations for dining or resorts through not until July 1st or later. Interesting. Because I know other people besides you who have dining reservations in resorts. Very interesting. I'm glad I just read that so I didn't look like an idiot after the show ended and I get 19 text messages. Um, so through June 6th, dang. All right, well, it's not through the month of June, so I'll look at it at the glass half full here.
Is that 2 weeks from now? Is that
June
also
6th?
yeah? That's
No,
May
no, it's not 3 weeks.
31st.
But they're, I guess, letting people know to close. They're giving a little more notice so that way they can change their flights or hotel or whatever they have to do, rental car. The opening, they pretty much have given 2 weeks notice. Closures, I think they try to give more because you do have to, if you had plans to come into town, whether you were driving from Oklahoma or if you were flying in and renting a car, because they are letting people fly back in. I mean, the travel bans and whatnot have been lifted. I know I have friends who are planning on coming down in June and they haven't received anything saying they can't come down.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah. I guess I didn't miss anything else here. No, that's pretty much all I've missed on our site. Let's see what else we got here. I'll go back to the chat. So anyway, interesting. June 6th. Oh man. I'm very bummed that I needed that. I really could have used that as best. But anyway.
We still have a lot of things in Springs opening, and things are constantly being announced about Springs. You're like every other day, like, oh, this place announced that they're opening, and this kiosk has announced that they're opening. So even like though like the hotels are being pushed back, that doesn't necessarily mean that other things that are very enjoyable aren't going to be available to us.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I would like, even if they did open the resorts without letting people stay there, if they let people kind of, because I used to love to resort hop. I love to go to the lounges and restaurants on property and just go hang out or have a meal or grab a drink or just like walk around the Coronado or walk around Fort Wilderness or Old Key West.
Oh, yeah. I love walking around the Polynesian. I mean, it's very nice to walk around the Grand Destino. That's really nice to walk around just to kind of look at. A lot of the resorts have some very nice like art pieces too that you can look at, like the mosaics, like the Peter Pan and the Tangled mosaics. Those are lovely. There's like, just walking around and looking at the fountains that they have and just walking around, even if I can't go in the pool, just looking at the pool and the atmosphere.
Yeah. No, you're right.
It's very nice to walk around.
I call it that Disney vibe, or that, you could say energy or whatever it is, but the Disney air, when you're walking around, it makes you feel good. When you were saying art pieces too, like I just miss like the Dahlia Lounge, like going in, or just the entire Grand Destino Tower is one of my favorite spots. I love the gin bar underneath the lobby. I love the huge portraits of, Dali and Disney, Walt Disney.
Yeah.
And just going up there and just overlooking the property and just taking a deep breath. It's my therapy. It is. So I cannot wait until these reopen. But yeah, this is encouraging stuff. I got Disney Springs in less than a week. I'm going to go check out the competition across the street today at City Walk, even if there is just a few things opening up, just to see what it's like. Get out of the house and go check it out.
Yeah, even if like you don't even need to like sit down at like Margaritaville or Bubba Gump or anything, just to physically be there and to take in a different atmosphere and to hear the music too, like that's a big thing as well.
It is, and you can tell like I've been listening to music. I mean, I've always have listened to music loops, but it was nice when Walt Disney World President Josh D'Amaro actually did the video of like, hey, let's turn the music back on in the parks for a little bit. That does mean so much to so many people, and that plays a major role. So I agree with you, just knowing that and they're taking it all in. And
that's what I do as a guest too. Like sometimes now that I live down here, I'm not one to like rush to rides as much as I used to. Now like sometimes I'll just go there to get myself, like some chocolate covered marshmallows and just walk around, and just to be surrounded by this area is just very relaxing, and it's just a lovely environment. So even if I can't, necessarily go and do a whole bunch of things, just physically being there is really, really enjoyable.
I totally agree. And I'm curious if they'll start opening other little things too. Like this week, I actually went and played foot golf at Disney. And the golf courses have never closed. So that was nice to be on Disney property and to actually interact with cast members. I forgot how nice that feeling was as well. I'm curious if they will start maybe opening the miniature golf courses. I know someone in the chat was talking, I was skimming it quickly. I think City Walk might even be opening their mini golf tonight. I'm not sure.
I did see that. I thought I saw that they were opening the you have to follow the different kinds of social distancing rules and all the different sorts of guidelines and etc. But I believe that is opening.
Yeah, so I mean, again, I think Disney, and again, is kind of, and in my opinion, this is smart. Let Universal take the lead on opening, and if there's not too much blowback, okay, that worked for them up the block. Let's come in and do our version of it open as well. I think that's smart. There's no reason to be the first to reopen. This is a situation where you can kind of ease in, put your toes in the water, and let's see what happens. Baby steps. That's what they do at Shanghai. I mean, they only opened at 30%. And it went very well. I mean, granted, and a lot of, in my opinion, of their signage was confusing, and not just because it was in Chinese, but like, they had certain areas where you could stand was boxes, and then in other parts of the park, the boxes meant do not stand, and then in other parts of the park, there were just markers on the ground that were dashes. I think there needs to be more of a clear system. I think cast members could play a huge role in that. I'm curious to see. I know they said they didn't plan on opening with a full cast, but I think they're going to need extra cast, let alone a full cast back they reopen, just to manage this. Let's see. Oh boy, I see things happening in the chat, which usually means I'm wrong about something, which is fine.
Oh no, I have to check that too.
No, but that's the role I play here. Favorite thing open the hotels first. We shouldn't shut the restaurants and hotels until anytime soon. That's a good point. Hey, we got Allie.
Hey.
Oh, hi.
What's up, Allie?
Hey, how are you?
West Coast. A first-timer on this show, but I'm very excited you were here. What is it, 8:30 in the morning by you?
It is 8:30. I just got back from my run. So,
oh, my God.
Yeah, we're doing things this morning. Yeah, it's hot.
You have so many medals. You are a actual runner. I am not. These are the only 6 times in my life I've actually run. You run in the morning for fun, which is impressive. Yeah. And you can see you have the medals to back it up.
Yep.
I figured you were coming in. What I want to do is, so I want to have a whole Epcot conversation, which I think is why you're here. But before we do that, I do want to just take a quick break because we're not going to have time to do a break later on with Carol. So we're going to do an early break. I'll let everyone kind of grab a refill, or if you don't have a drink yet, grab a drink, go to the restroom, whatever you got to do, because we have a packed show. So we're going to take a quick break right here, come back, we're going to do our Epcot discussion, and then we have Carol from the UK, which is obviously a big part of all of our stops when we're at Epcot is the Rose and Crown. So everyone stick right where you are, grab a refill, hit the restroom. We're going to be back in 5 or less. See you in a little bit. It's Party with Pete, baby.
Something has stopped us now. I'll tell you how. We're gonna live on through it. Let's stay inside and spend our time taking things in stride. Good times aren't held at bay. Just stay away from the population and wash your hands to kill off those bacterial strands. Now we're trying to keep a little distance. It's for sure our best resistance to making things a whole lot worse. Come on, kids, let's all go down to the sink. Wash those grubby little hands of yours. 20 seconds. You never know, it might just save a life. Something has stopped us now, but don't you fret, it'll for sure get better. We'll soon be hand in hand, going down to Disneyland. Oh, won't that be so grand, though something has stopped us now. Ah-cha-cha.
Nearly everyone loves Italian food, but those people who love a true, authentic Italian come to me at a Tony's Town Square Cafe. I, Tony Ragu, have been offering home-cooked food from the province of Toledo here at the Magic Kingdom for almost 30 years. If you're trapped inside in a quarantine, why not take a night off from cooking and order from us? We now offer takeout and delivery options. I never thought working a microwave would be considered an essential business during a global crisis, but what are you gonna do, eh? All of Tony's favorites are available. The chicken parmesan, spaghetti and meatballs, empanadas, the canine crunchies, you name it. Now there's some things you need to know. Postmates is going to tell you that you can order from our theme park location, but you actually got to come to my warehouse on an Orange Blossom Trail. If you go to the Magic Kingdom, the cops, they're going to stop you. It's okay if they do, though. Just drop on my cousin Vinny's name, Vincenzo Ragu, and they're going to let you through. He's a judge up in Westchester. They know who he is. If you choose a pickup, the food is going to be put in your trunk just to make sure you move any baseball bats, cement blocks, bowling bags, so we can lay the food flat. The food is going to be frozen, so don't worry about it getting cold on the way home. So I have what the Uber Eats app is calling Italian food. Tony's Town Square, now available for delivery or pickup. It usually tastes like it's from the road. Now it's made to travel on it. Mangiare!
From the creators of Clue, Disney Parks Edition comes an all-new version of the board game you love, themed to a park you're trying to continue loving. It's Sorry, the Epcot Edition, and whoa boy, do kids love it.
Wowie, the whole board is themed to my favorite attractions from before I was born, and whatever is left of the park.
How do we play?
It's easy. Just roll the dice, move your piece, and draw one of the event cards.
Spaceship Earth is getting redone.
All right.
With no sponsor, and it will be about storytelling. Sorry.
Wait, so the card says sorry? What does that mean?
It means we're just sorry, okay? We're trying our best here.
Are you really, though? Figment is back, but Dreamfighter is dead. Sorry.
Club Cool is coming back, but you have to wait for 4 years. Sorry.
There's a restaurant in space, but it only serves the Maria and Enzo's menu. Sorry. So, how do you win?
You can't win. There is no winning.
I feel like this is about more than a board game.
Sorry, the Epcot Edition. Available at Mouse Gear and all new sterile white gift shops at Disney Parks.
We are back. Welcome back to Party with Pete. It is a beautiful Thursday morning here on the East Coast and a very early morning on the West Coast for Ellie. But if you're watching around, I know we have some people watching over in Europe. So you guys are just in the prime of your day. Hope you guys are having a cocktail and enjoying your Thursday here of your lockdown. I have forgotten about some business. So I need to, of course, plug our extended family, the WDWNT, Inner Globe Society, the WIGs. How have I forget to plug the WIGs? Big shout out to all the WIGs members that are watching. And if you've already joined, thank you so much. But if you have not, you can head over to WDWNT.com or Patreon /WDWNT and join our WIGs for as little as $2 a month. You get a ton of extras, a ton of bonus content. You get post shows. We did an awesome post show just for our WIGs last night after Park Center. So go join the WIGs and become part of this crazy tribe we have over at WDWNT. Also, if you haven't yet, smash the like button. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're watching on Facebook, slide it over to the heart. I want extra love today. Wherever you're watching, slam that like, love, heart. It helps the show. It helps the network, and it means a lot to us. And, of course, if you are balling and you got some extra change in your back seat, you could always hit the super chat on YouTube. It's that little tiny little $sign below where you type a message, and it helps out the show and the network. So thank you very much.
Is that my mic or is that some dogs?
That's my dog, sorry.
There's dogs.
Okay. Oh, it was Eric Morton, actually, I think, the whole time.
Hello. It's definitely not Butter. Eric is now here as well. We have a...
Can you hear me?
This party is rocking. Eric, you came just in time. I was just plugging your show, by the way. I love doing Locked In.
Oh, thank you.
We're talking Epcot. We have Carol on the show in just under an hour. So we are going to start our travels around Epcot, and let me start with this discussion. Where does everyone start when they go to the World Showcase? Are you a Mexico to Canada or a Canada to Mexico person? I'll let you guys go first. Take it away.
I'll go first. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm international gateway. I almost never go in Epcot through the front gate. So so I usually start in the UK or France. Typically, we start in the UK. Like Rose and Crown is usually the first stop.
So Rose and Crown is your first stop, and then you work your way around to Canada to Mexico, and then finish in France.
It's kind of a coin flip, but yeah, that's usually the best way because then you kind of end up where you started. You end up in France if you're ready to go somewhere or you got to meet somebody. You know, when I go, it's not unless there's a festival going on or we have company in town. Usually, I'm not there for the full day, right? I'm there to take a quick lap, make a few stops, enjoy ourselves, and then back to wherever, or I go there after work, or I go something like that. So yeah, usually it's a quick lap from UK to France clockwise.
All right, so you're going clockwise. What about you guys? What do you think? I have Ali and Allison.
So we'll start at Mexico, usually hit up the ride, and then we are straight to Germany. So
you're just cruising past Norway.
We will cruise past Norway because I usually have a fast pass later for Frozen, so we'll come back to Norway. But we'll go to Germany, spend some time there, and then we'll usually head to France for a slushie, and then spend the rest of the time at the UK pavilion.
Okay, interesting. Allison, what's your strategy?
I don't know why we had this strategy, but I mean, I guess I know why. When I would go with my family, when I would fly down here, we would always start at Mexico first, same as Ali, because there was the cute little ride. So it'd be like, oh, okay, let's go do that ride. And then right next to it was Maelstrom. And then we would go to the next ride. We'd go to Norway. And I think that's the reason why we would always start at Mexico. But now since I moved down here, I kind of was like, let me do something different. Ooh, let's mix it up. And let's go towards Canada first. I do like the band that performs there. That's a lot of fun. The bands that perform there are always a really nice time. So now I go to Canada first.
Interesting. All right. So I think everyone, very, very good answers, but here's the official answer. I'm just teasing. Eric makes a good point. It's very, and you guys both make good points that when you live here is very different from when you don't live here. Because before I moved down here, I would always go Mexico to Canada, and then I would then pick and choose certain spots afterwards. Or kind of like Ali, if I knew I was coming back to a country for something, I would skip it and come back. But I think that Mexico to Canada plays a great role in kind of a little bit of everything. La Cava del Tequila gets very busy, especially if it's a weekend or a festival. So getting there to start your day is probably the best strategy to not having to wait in line, especially if you want to go eat or drink in what I call the cave and actually go in and sit down and not just grab drinks to go. So getting there early is a great strategy and what I recommend to a lot of people. Then working your way around, if you notice as well, a lot of the entertainment that's earlier in the day kind of is on that half of the World Showcase. And entertainment that's later in the day, well, the entertainment that hasn't been cut at this point, is on the other side of the World Showcase. So like if you're going to see the band in Canada or the British Revolution in the UK, those perform up until the evening hours, as opposed to like a mariachi cobra or the acrobats in China, which kind of end earlier in the day, which are on that side. So if you're kind of planning and you don't want to do multiple laps or bounce back and forth, I feel like entertainment-wise, it also works that way around the World Showcase. My third argument would just be the beverages as well. I think there are more stronger options if you plan on drinking around the world or stopping in every country, or if you want the hard stuff, you can get more of that, or their signature drinks are more driven towards like tequila in Mexico, what I call like the devil's spit in Norway, whatever that shot is. In China, you got a Tipsy Ducks, which has the Jim Beam. And then Germany's always my break, have some beers in Germany. But and then as you go to the other side, like in the Rose and Crown, I can have some Guinnesses, some beers. In Canada, I usually get some Canadian beer. So I can kind of wind down my day, as opposed from going beer before liquor, never sicker, liquor before beer, you're in the clear, and go that way as well. And then you can also hit that wine walk, which is right in the middle too. But we're going to get there. I kind of want to go country by country and talk everyone's favorite food and beverage options. But I wanted to get strategy out of the way. That way everyone kind of knows where we're going. And then now that I do live here, Eric makes a great point. I only use the International Gateway as well. I don't think I've parked in the front of Epcot in over a year and a half, except when I had a rental car here. Now that I live here, I've never gotten in the front. I've only gotten in the International Gateway, which is always fun to enter that way, because you can say, like, I see London, I see France, and then, finish the riddle any way you want. So I think for the purposes of this conversation is, why don't we start in Mexico and work our way around talking about some of our favorite tips, tricks, best beverages, or best snack item or food item, or if you love the restaurant, if you love an attraction, if you have a strategy for that pavilion, I would love to hear it, because I always pick up tidbits from conversations like this with friends. So this is going to be fun. So let's start in Mexico. And like I said, you don't have to hit all 4 topics, but if you have some tips, tricks, drinks, restaurants, food items, I want to learn all about what people do at every pavilion. So let's start with Mexico. Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
All right.
So one of my keys in Mexico, and this doesn't usually work like during a festival weekend, although it's fairly effective. There's always a line at the Cava, at La Cava del Tequila. But that line is usually for the takeaway. You can actually sometimes get in faster if you want to be seated. So you go in and ask for a table, tell them you'll take a stand-up table or whatever. Usually I get in faster that way than standing in that kind of switchback line for the takeaway drinks. I will say that the service there is consistently kind of relaxed, I guess. They're not, they're not all over you there. So you do have to kind of get their attention for a drink. But I like chilling out in there. I could just as easily grab a margarita outside if I wanted to, but I love the ambiance in there, and I love chilling out in there. So that's a great way to save yourself some time, maybe, is to actually sit down and get a drink and relax a little bit, because you're just going to relax somewhere and drink it anyway. So you might as well be inside in the air conditioning.
Yeah. I'll go just going off of that. Is that I agree with you. And again, the reason I like starting there is if you don't know, the World Showcase opens at 11 a.m. Typically. Although it does open a little earlier now that you can go to the bakery in Norway, and Frozen Ever After opens earlier in the day. But the Mexico Pavilion doesn't really, I'll say, come alive, or La Cava and stuff like that doesn't open until 11 a.m., as well as the Cantina or Choza, the margarita stand. Which leaves me to actually one of my tips is that if there is a super long line at La Cava del Tequila, and also there's a long line at Choza, which is your second best option, great margaritas outside, you can grab some empanadas and margaritas. The Cantina usually has a pretty quick moving line. They're pushing people through, and they have a tasty margarita over there. So if you're just looking for a margarita, and La Cava's got a super long line, and Choza has a super long line, just hit the Cantina, and you can grab it, quick and go. I agree. So, I'm going to do this as if I'm not a local. I'm going to do this as if I'm coming into town, because that's kind of, I feel like, the best strategy to talk about if we're going to do Epcot and you only have a day or whatever it is. I'm typically rope dropping, so I'm going to be running around hitting Test Track, Soarin', Spaceship Earth, as much as I can in Future World until 11 a.m. And by that point, I kind of can use a break. I've been up for 3 hours. at least. I've been running around. It's probably hot in Florida. So I agree. As I try to get to go sit down at La Cava, it's cool sitting in the cave. You get to munch on some, some chips and salsa, grab a nice margarita, do a tequila flight if you want to kickstart your day. You're ready to go. And then you can kind of go from there. I typically from there will leave, take a nice relaxing boat ride. Or if I get to La Cava too early, I'll do the boat ride. I'll do the Three Caballeros boat ride. So it's either right before or right after, depending on the time I get there. And then I just like to hang out.
Cantina, Pete, that cantina has how many registers do they have?
Like 1 million. I'm pretty sure it's 1 million.
Yeah, it moves way faster. Your options are more limited, but you can still get a good margarita there and much faster.
Absolutely. And that's what I try to tell people too. Like, again, like if you have certain ones you want to try, like I happen to love the cucumber margarita at Choza. Obviously the avocado margarita is one of my favorites, but I mix it up over at Cava. There's the new Neil Patrick Harris one, which is good, but it's like $40 million for some reason. I think you get like some of his sweat in there or something. I don't know what makes it so expensive. They just store it from the Candlelight Professional and use like a drop.
A lock of his hair from Doogie Howser.
Yeah, that's what they garnish it. Just a lock of his hair.
Are we drinking tequila or are we making apologies potion? I don't understand.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of like my plan when I'm in Mexico is that if I'm getting there early, that's what I'm doing. If let's say I'm locally getting there later in the afternoon after Lauren's done with work and I'm living here and we go, I'm going to look at the lines and kind of make decisions based on the lines and the crowds. What about you, ladies? What's your kind of your plan and strategy when you're in Mexico?
We usually will hit up the boat ride first because I love that ride. Just very OG. And then we'll usually go to La Cava. If it's crowded, we'll just go to the bar, grab our margaritas, and then go sit by that fountain and just people watch and drink because you're still inside. And then you can just keep grabbing what you want. And then we usually end up back at Mexico after UK Pavilion and several drinks because those street tacos. So living in LA, we have really good Mexican food, but I actually really enjoy those street tacos. I feel like they're a good deal. Wow. And like you guys said, you can grab some alcohol while you're getting your street tacos and sit there and look at the lake. So
that's a big compliment because you guys have like premier tacos
really
by
good Mexican food.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Miss Allison?
So I am like, if I have like a drink and a half, like I'm done. So I cannot for the life of me ever accomplish drinking around the world. I would be on the floor. I couldn't survive it. So I'm very curious to kind of learn how everybody here is able to do it, kind of like taking in all of your different kinds of strategies and like, so
Step
I can
one,
probably
be a dude that's overweight. That's just step one.
It helps. It helps a lot.
Become man. Eat many tacos. All right.
And step 2 for me, be from Wisconsin.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I used to love, I can't drink margaritas anymore. But like a good frozen margarita was like, ooh, that was my favorite thing back in the day. But I can tell you a little bit about some of my favorite things besides drinking that I like to do in Mexico. I love. Ooh,
wait, they have what? They have something else in Mexico besides drinking?
They do. There's other things. Pete is muted. I can't hear you, Pete.
Pete, you're muted.
I muted myself. Sorry. It's something I do. I put myself in timeout. No, I was going to say, yeah, this might be shocking, Eric. There are people that just don't drink or in Mexico. So, like, let's hear some other things you can do for people who may not just be maniacs like us.
They used to sell, like, bags of Tostitos and salsa, like, in a little market outside, which is really funny. Like, oh, authentic Mexican. Here's your Tostitos for sale.
They got like the Tostito scoops. You're like, oh, this is weird.
I'm sorry, Allison. Continue.
That's fine. I do the boat ride. I love it. I like the new version, but I really miss the old version, especially at the end. Now it's like Donald's like reunited with everybody, but it used to be everybody's trying to sell you something. They're like, buy this.
Yeah.
So I love that part. That was a lot of fun. One of my favorite meet and greets is Mexican Donald. I love his sombrero. I love him. I love what he's wearing. I think he's adorable. I love meeting Mexican Donald. I like Mariachi Cobra. They're a lot of fun. And the inside is just so lovely. It's dark, it's calming. The little lights are lovely. And I enjoy watching the artists with the little, I forgot what they're called, the little animals. The figures that they paint, and they do such a good job, and they're so intricate. So I definitely like to kind of take a moment to go over to them and kind of see what kind of pieces they're making that day. So it's very nice, very calm inside, and the restaurant inside's pretty
Arribas Brothers too. They have the glass blowing in Mexico too, which I find is another great thing to watch. Like Allie, we'll grab some margaritas, and sometimes we'll just sit by the fountain and people watch. But also, I might just go over and watch whatever piece they're making. It also has some of the best, in my opinion, air conditioning in the World Showcase. So if it is a hot part of the day, just to be inside that Mexico Pavilion, they are bumping that AC. It feels like heaven. It's like a walking refrigerator. It's fantastic.
Little known fact, Pete, and the viewers can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm almost sure on this because I remember this. We're going back to like, I don't know, let's say 2005 or when did they redo the ride? Was it 2006 when it went from Rio del Tiempo to Three Caballeros? It's that time frame.
Something like that.
Anyway, when they originally announced it, I can swear they said they announced it was gonna be the only Disney attraction where you were allowed to bring alcohol on the ride with you.
Nope.
And and they were like,
by the way, it was 2007. It was 2007. Then when the new iteration of the ride. Yeah.
So when they first announced it, there was at least the rumors and the Disney internet, the podcasts and stuff were saying, yeah, you could take a margarita on this ride with you. And I think that lasted about 4.5 minutes before they determined it's probably a bad idea.
They were like, nope, this is a terrible idea. It's cool.
I want to know what happened.
Margarita River.
But for the viewers, though, you might be able to check me. But I swear that was like one of the positive things when they announced they were, retheming the ride, was you could bring your margarita on board. And I said, well, gosh, this is the first ride we can really do that. And someone's like, yeah, unless you count Norway, because they never care. So I said, Norway, hey, he's got a beer, who cares? Anyway.
I can only imagine how sticky those seats would be with people spilling. Because as it is, when you step onto that ride, you're putting your feet right on the seat as it is. It is not...
Or dumping it into the water.
Dumping it into the water. I would love it because once you are on the river,
it on someone.
Right. I know I could handle it, but I can't imagine a large number of people making that smooth transition. I don't know. But Disney, if it could be cost efficient to them because they would be selling double the amount of margaritas at La Cava because people would be spilling them, dumping them. They would be going right.
I think they would probably just put a quick serve margarita stand right there in the queue. Probably would have been a great idea.
That'd be amazing. Could they give me a cover, like a sippy cup?
Maybe the boat actually stops along the way, and there's a little margarita vendor.
A little bar. I always wish the People Mover had something like that, where you can a grab and go station on the People Mover, where it slows down, and you're like, I'll take this, and this, and as you pull up to the next station, it's there waiting. Would be nice. All right,
the bar moves along with you.
Exactly. So Mexico, we've covered Mexico. Allie mentioned skipping right past Norway. I will say most of the time I do the same, but let's say I'm only there once every few months and I have to hit every country, or if I'm with friends and they're like, you can't drink around the world, and I'm like, okay, here we go, let's do this. We go to Norway. Also, people love the bakery in Norway. They're also, apparently the Viking coffee is very popular. I've never had it, but I will try it when the parks reopen. Because everywhere I was reading, when I was like just making sure I didn't miss anything for like when in my, because it's been a little bit since I researched it, I just kind of do it when it comes to drinking and eating around the world. But Viking coffee is on like everyone's must drink list. Have any of you had the Viking coffee?
No, that sounds great. Is it like super strong? Is that why it's the Viking coffee?
It's an alcoholic beverage. Yeah. And what I think is a funny part about this, I think that none of the ingredients are actually like specific to Norway, which is the funniest part. Viking coffee. Let's see. Here's the recipe. Oh, great. Clicked an article. Says recipe. There's no recipe. Just a picture.
No.
Go ahead. I'm going to find something.
I think Norway doesn't have. So I don't drink in Norway. I don't often drink in Norway at Epcot. I've drank a lot in Norway for real Norway. Like when I was in the Marines, I was there for months on a cruise. I've been on a Disney cruise to Norway. But all the stuff that people drink there seems to be like German or from like another country nearby. I don't know that they have a lot of their own unique alcohol. In fact, when I first went to Norway, and this in the 90s when I was there in the military, it was so expensive to drink that all the locals would go, and they're like, when you go to bar hop or whatever, they would actually open little stands in the street that sold flavorings that you mix with like grain alcohol. Because they would all just get grain alcohol and dump this thing in that supposedly made it taste like Jack Daniels or made it taste like whatever. I don't know, but it was really expensive. And this is like in the mid 90s. It was like, I think it was like the cheapest drink at this one bar when I was there in the 90s was like $7, and it was like a shot of Bailey's and a little shot of coffee. And it was like everything else was like $15. Extra value McDonald's was extra value meal at McDonald's was like, I don't know, $13 or something like that. This is in 1995, 1996. So. Anyway,
by the way,
at Epcot, I skip Norway most of the time. No, but usually just have Carlsberg, which isn't Norwegian, by the way.
So the Viking coffee is a blend of Colombian coffee, Camorra coffee liqueur, and Bailey's Irish cream, which is Irish. That is in the Viking coffee in Norway.
That's perfect.
Yeah, so a coffee liqueur, and Bailey's Irish cream. I mean, it sounds good. You can't go wrong with those. I don't know, that shot of aquavit or aquavit is usually a lot for me, unless like we're really trying to turn up. I usually just grab the beer that is pronounced oos, but is spelled like a donkey, because I'm being PG. Okay. That's about it. I mean, anyone else have thoughts or notes on Norway, or should we cruise it over to China?
I like the little museum that they have. It rotates. Have you ever been in that little thing? It's very
right
it's
now
cute.
It's the Tool of the Gods right now, right? It's like Thor and some other Norwegian god. It's like gods and something else. It is interesting. I like when they change things over. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of that. I do believe that Epcot should stay as edutainment and keep things interesting. I like that they just changed the Morocco museum. I like that they changed it up over in the American Pavilion, which is right now a Native American exhibit. They have one that is in, oh my God. Well, the Japanese one is always good too. Right now it's with pop culture. Yeah. So I like stuff like that. I like that they still have it and they don't just like plow it down and like turn it into like another Kid Cot coloring room or something like that. Like let's keep people educated. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
And of course, everyone loved Maelstrom. But do we like Frozen? Should we just give a yay or a nay on Frozen? I like it.
I like it. It's not my favorite, but it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Eric, do you like Frozen? The ride?
No.
Okay. Solid. You just missed Maelstrom.
I just think you have this major movie franchise that's going to draw in all these people, and all you did was repaint a ride and pump some new music through the speakers. You know, like it's the same track. I don't know. It just felt like it didn't feel very innovative. I thought for Frozen they'd want to do something innovative and spectacular for this, gazillion-dollar movie franchise that captivated the minds of all these kids, and all they did was like they closed in that opening in the wall that you could see the boats and the maelstrom from outside. They reversed the side of the loading area. They did not repair the. What's that?
The entire track is reversed. You go through the ride backwards.
Yeah. Well, the lift is still crappy, right? The lift
is still awful.
The lift is just as bad as it always has been.
That'll wake you up.
I'm one of the like 4 people that actually liked that Norway movie afterwards. Like it used to be in old days. Yeah, if you remember in the old days, you had to wait outside that movie theater for the next showing, and then it would open. Everyone would go in and sit down, and then if you wanted to, you could get up and leave. And then it transitioned to the point where they just left the doors open on both sides, and people are just walking through there the whole time. And I don't know. I liked it, and it set the maelstrom set me up more for the $500 sweaters that were for sale in this shop afterwards.
I still have that.
I don't know. I don't know. I know people like Frozen.
I don't think Frozen is blowing anyone's minds. I just think it's a cute ride. It's something that I'd take people on if they haven't been on it. I don't like rush to it. Like when I have to choose my fast passes whenever I go, and now that I've done it all several times, I'm not fast passing Frozen as my number one pick of the day. But it's a cute ride. It's cute. Maelstrom.
I think maybe Frozen. I think maybe Frozen would have been better as like a sleigh ride than a boat ride, because the idea is that everything is frozen, and here you are floating along with a nice little bobbing current on some water. I don't know. I don't know. I get it. They wanted to use that Scandinavia connection with Frozen because of, I guess, the location.
Keep in mind, once it became a success, they had to get something in the parks fast, and I think this was a very easy overlay. And you could tell they kind of did it quickly to open it, and they also opened it quickly. It had problems for the first few months. It wasn't like the first few days or weeks. The first few months, they were still having problems with this of just breaking down constantly throughout the day, or the face is not syncing up. It was also that face technology. They really pushed it out on the side. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it either. I don't mind it on the Seven Dwarfs, on the Seven Dwarf Mine Train at the Magic Kingdom, because I think the hats and beards cover up some of the around the face stuff, and it works better there. But having on an Elsa, you can see where like their face ends. It's a little strange. Let's go to China.
Okay, I was just going to say there's also no Norway connection to it. It's kind of like vaguely similar to Scandinavia, but a fantasy land where, Mexico, they rethemed it with the 3 caballeros, but it's uniquely Mexican. And, so this is Frozen is just kind of like, maybe I've been better at the studios or something. I don't know.
More Beverly makes a good point. The Olaf animatronic is a great animatronic on that ride. It's super cool when it works, and it's super fluid. Kudos on the Olaf animatronic. All right, we're heading to China. What are we doing over in China, everybody? What's your routine when you are in the China Pavilion at Epcot?
Well, since we're talking about like alcohol and drinks that don't originate from the country you're in, so like they used to serve Carlsberg in Norway. I don't even know if they do anymore. Talk Bailey's Irish cream, all this stuff. For the longest time, China at the counter service was serving Yingling, which sounds kind of Chinese. It's made in Tampa. But it sounds kind of originally in Pottsville, Pennsylvania, but most of their beer down here is brewed in Tampa. So it's like sounds. Yeah, did you purchase this phonetically and think that we would just assume it was Chinese beer? I don't know. But Tsingtao is a terrible beer, so I get it why they're selling Yingling. I don't know.
Allie?
We usually skip.
Normally pass it. There's nothing
we've gone and walked around, and we enjoy looking at everything, but as far as drinking there, we are not.
All right, we're gonna give you double time in Germany then. What about you over there, Miss Allison? What are you eating and drinking in China?
I actually had my 21st birthday in the Nine Dragons, and my first 21-year-old drink was a glass of plum wine at the Nine Dragons.
Well, you can always get a reservation at the Nine Dragons on the busiest day at Epcot. Usually they have reservations available.
And that was the last and only time I ate at the Nine Dragons. I wanted to eat there because I'd never eaten there before. I'd eaten at almost every single sit-down restaurant in all 4 parks, and Nine Dragons is one of the few. I was like, let's go eat there. I've never done it before, and they have plum wine, and I liked plum wine, and the plum wine was very good, but
and she got plum wasted.
but the food was. Let's leave it there.
Yeah, it's funny. I argue with Tom about this all the time. He likes Nine Dragons. I think it is not good. It's not good food, especially at that price point. For some reason, they have this cult following of people who think it's good. It is not. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I've been spoiled with Chinese food in my life. It's not good Chinese food. I'd rather grab an egg roll from the Joy of Tea cart is right outside. You grab an egg roll and a Tipsy Ducks in Love as you walk on by, or while you're watching the acrobats or the celebration. Yeah, I also don't spend too much time here. I do like it, especially when I'm going with other people who haven't been there in a while or it's their first time. Walking into the pagoda where like you have that perfect echo and it's acoustically sound is fun. You have the meet and greet, whether you want to do it or not. You can kind of walk past and see it. It's one of those meet and greets. A lot of the meet and greets are hidden, where you don't get to see the character until you like turn the corner. They do Mulan like right out in the open, so you could at least, if you don't want to wait in line, like if you're taking like my niece or my nephew or something like that, or if you just want to see what Mulan looks like in costume, you can just kind of walk by the line and check around. Oh, there's Mulan. Like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. They have the whole Shanghai presentation right now. It's a neat little back of the pavilion. It's cute. It's well themed. They have a pretty cool store. They sell a lot of neat stuff. So if you need that little air conditioning break, it's nice. But again, I'm a Tipsy Ducks in Love guy. I grab an egg roll, and then we head to Equatorial Africa. And we won't spend a lot of time here, but I will say that Mango Star is not a bad beverage. If you're drinking around the world, I make my friends stop here. So I say this is a stop. It counts. So there's 12 stops when you drink around the world with me, because they sell beer and they sell cocktails. As well as I believe they have at least one wine. So that's a stop to me. So I head in there. I've been enjoying Equatorial Africa during festivals. They typically have, the last time I was there, they had an amazing, in my opinion, the best beer at Epcot was in Equatorial Africa. It was a hazy IPA. I'm an IPA drinker. It was delicious. They did a beer and popcorn flight. The popcorn was but if you want to try something cool, it wasn't overpriced, so it wasn't bad for a beer and popcorn flight. They have some other snacks in there too. Nothing, to lose our minds over in Equatorial Africa, but it's a neat little stop. You are going to want to keep moving because the sound of the kids beating the drums is fun at first, but give it a few minutes and you're going to want to keep moving. Any other thoughts on Equatorial Africa? All right, we're going to Germany, and I'm going to kick it since Sally has just breezed by Norway, breezed by China, breezed by Equatorial Africa. She's now arrived in Germany. What's your plan, Allie, when you are in Germany?
So we love that Hefeweizen, that grapefruit Hefeweizen beer, and I'm sure there's people that don't like it, but we found it. Yeah, we finally found it out here, so I was drinking that last night, actually. So we'll grab a couple cups of that, and then we head into that little wine cellar that's kind of hidden inside where you can stand there, and it's still air conditioned, but you're still people watching, so we hang out in there for way too long. And then we'll roam in and out of the shops and head back out, grab another cup of beer, head back inside, and just hang out in the air conditioning, go look at the little train by the bathrooms. And
a little romantic road over there. Yeah.
Yep. And then we have done the buffet there a few times. I'm terrible with names. I can't remember what it's called right now.
It's the beer garden.
Yes, the beer garden. I should know that. Yeah. So I've been there a few times. Love that buffet.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've only been there about 300 times.
Eric loves beer garden too. Everyone loves Germany on this. I don't know Allison's opinion yet, but I feel like Germany's a big crowd favorite. Sorry, Eric, I cut you.
Fantastic.
That's my spot. I could spend all day there. I have spent all day there.
Yep.
So you know my spot, Pete. I hang out in the wine cellar or the wine cellar, whatever that room is.
Wine what's it called?
There's a nice little.
I just like
nice little stand-up table.
Terrible.
There's a nice little stand-up table, and that's where I post up all the time. And it's a quick trip in under there to Summerfest to grab a beer. And I like that. That's my spot. Their pretzels are terrible, by the way. but their beer now it's just Beck's, right? It used to be they used to have Spaten, then they got rid of Spaten Oktoberfest. I really liked. They got rid of that. They got Alten Münster Oktoberfest they had for a number of years. Got rid of that. Now it's just Beck's, which I could get at a convenience store. So
they have other stuff. They rotate beer through there.
Well, they have that grapefruit beer.
The Schafferhofer, yeah. They usually have 4 beers. They have 4 beers at the beer stop in the pavilion, and then they have the pretzel and beer cart, which usually has 1 or 2 other beers as well. So I think there's always at least 4 to 5 different beer options.
I'm talking about the things that replace like an Oktoberfest style beer. I like the Oktoberfest style beers, and they don't really have one now. I mean, Beck's it's a lager. You have to wait for
Beck's sucks. Let's just put that out there. Beck's is awful. It tastes like garbage.
It doesn't suck. It just isn't. It isn't special.
It sucks. It's terrible. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, it's awful.
I'll be right back. Sorry, I keep leaving.
Beck's does not sponsor this show. At the beer stop inside, again, I agree. I like a Hefeweizen. I will drink the grapefruit. I've had so much Schafferhofer at this point, I have to decide when I'm going to have it. Because also with the way I drink around the World Showcase could mess up my stomach. It doesn't work well after having a Tipsy Duck Love, that's for sure. So I can do with a Hefeweizen, an Oktoberfest, a Dunkel. Depends on what they're serving. And if they have a festival going on, the little booth by the stage and the Snow White meet and greet usually has another 4 or 5 beer options available in their beer flight. Actually, one of the coolest things I thought I was going to hate it, is I did the rosé flight in Germany. They had it in Germany. That was a rosé beer, a rosé wine, and a rosé cocktail. And all 3 were pretty good. I was impressed.
Good.
I'm not sure if they're going to bring that back, but if you see it, I would give it a try. I was surprised pleasantly. Yeah, I mean, just going around, you guys said a lot of it. Germany, I love the wine cellar. Another thing I love to do, or that I take friends to do, is the wine walk. I think it's a good deal. I think it's $32. You get 6 wines, 2 beers, 2 wines in Germany, 2 wines in Italy, and 2 wines in France. You also get the collectible cup, which they sell for $5. So if you knock $5 off that to get 6 wines for $28, or whatever that math works out to, it's not a bad deal at all. It's fun. You get to try a bunch of different things. I always push people to try new things when they go around the World Showcase, unless you've obviously been there a bunch of times, you know what you like. But if someone's new to going around the World Showcase, I think it's fun when you're in a new pavilion or country to drink something new or to eat something new. I also know, so Allison, I'm curious what your thoughts are too. I know Eric's significant other Lee also loves the popcorn in Germany. What are you
called the caramel coochie? Is that inappropriate? The caramel coochie.
It's not how you say it. It's not how you say it.
I'm not German.
People are going to be all kinds of confused, and then they're going to be walking around Germany asking, "Where can I find some caramel coochie?"
Oh no!
Come on. You're out of control at the party. All right, Allison, what are you doing when you're in Germany?
It wouldn't be our show if we were out of control.
What am I doing in Germany? If my husband is with me, he's getting himself a big soft pretzel. That's his thing. He loves a good soft pretzel. They are good, no
matter what Eric says.
I like the wine cellar. They have a whole bunch of different dessert wines, which I love. They have ice wine in there, and they have a lot of sweet wines, which I love. And they have a red, a white, and I think a dessert wine flight that you can get. They have this very nice artisanal cheese plate that you can get and pair with a wine, which is very nice. Yep. And something that we didn't mention was the caramels that they have are delicious, and I love you just get this massive chunk of caramel covered in chocolate, and it's delicious. So those are some of the things I like going for in Germany.
If you time it right, you can buy a $37,000 rhinestone covered castle too.
It's hard to time right. You have to have a disposable $37,000, and that's what you need to time that right.
Don't have that.
I would just because I forgot to mention too, I do love the beer garden as well. I'm a regular there. I love the entertainment. I love the guys in the polka band.
Yeah.
I just love that you can actually get the full liters of beer like they actually have in Germany. It's just fun. We sit family style. So, I mean, if you have a large party, you sit together. But I also like, and who knows in this Corona world we live in now if this will ever happen again. But it was nice to sit with some strangers and you like drum up a conversation. I've had some of the best times meeting people that I've never met, and we've talked and hang out and had a ton of laughs. I've also had people who have answered me in one-word answers like, okay, thank you, goodbye. So
That's my friends. Like, I would always go with one of my best friends, and he would love the German food, but he would just be like, I want to eat at Germany, but I have to sit next to people. And he's like and he's like acknowledges them, and then he doesn't look at them anymore because he doesn't like talking to strangers.
I have a funny story.
Sticky, oi, oi, oi. And I'm like, let's go. And I don't even know people. I'm like, come on, Brett. Come on, Josh, Johnny, Danielle.
I have a funny story about that, Pete. You know how every time you eat, if you haven't eaten there, the polka band will come out and they'll do eventually they'll sing Ein Prosit and sing and they'll do the tiki taki, and then the crowd goes, oi, 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 and they stop and they're like, okay, we need to be louder. We want you to scream and make a lot of noise and be excited. And so without fail, they do that. Well, you met my sister Hillary if you were on. If you watched Locked In on Saturday, and she's kind of a fun, gregarious person. We had a few friends with us, and we probably had a few in us, and he does the like tiki-taki, and our table's like oh, and he goes, okay, that table over there, you're louder than the rest of the room, but the rest of the room has to be more like this table over there. So,
love those guys. One other fun thing to do if you're in Germany, if you're doing the scavenger hunt game, which is now available on your phone, so it's not hard to do. It was the Kim Possible, then it was Phineas and Ferb, and I think now it's DuckTales. You can make the Steins sing in the Germany shop through your app, which is fun. So if you're over there, I know Tyler and Micah, last time I was there with them, it's fun. We like to watch when people walk over to the Steins, and then from standing back far away, we hit go. And then the Steins start moving, and it makes people jump a little bit. So that's fun to do. And also, you have the monster restrooms. I feel like everyone uses these restrooms right next to Romantic Road, which is where the trains are. And enjoy the trains now. People, I mean, actually, never mind. They're going to stop all construction ideas for a while. But, so that'll be there for a while. We have to get – we're not going to finish. We're going to have to come back to the World Showcase after Carol. But let's try to get to at least the America Pavilion. Let's head to Italy next. I enjoy the Italy Pavilion. What do you guys think?
I enjoy the Italy Pavilion. I think the pizza there is very good. I know we tried to get in there when I met with you in August, and we could not, which was sad. But yeah, love the wines and love the pizza.
What do you think?
Is it my turn? Did I miss my turn? I'm sorry. I keep going away. It's my lunch break. I'm trying to take a lunch break, but everyone keeps calling me. So
popular.
Italy has, I know. So Via Napoli, very good. Lee's favorite. The wine cellar is awesome, but I think it was cooler when it was more, I don't want to say more casual, but like now you go there, it's kind of intimidating because they have like a hostess sitting there that kind of looks at you suspiciously, like, what can we do for you? Like, I don't know. I'm standing here in front of the wine cellar. What do you think I want to do? But it's pretty expensive. I will say I really miss Alfredo's when it was there, and the Tutto Gusto. I'm not giving it another chance. At least I don't plan to give it another chance. I had a really bad experience there once, so I'm not interested in that. As far as and the pizza window, like a few weeks, before the parks closed, like the pizza window was inexplicably closed for like weeks and weeks with just like a sign taped on it, like you're in the downtown of some like rundown city or something. I was like, this is Disney, and you have like a, hey, sorry, we're closed until further notice. We might be back in late March or something. But for drinking, you can on the left side, as you're facing Italy. On your left side, you can go over there and get a couple different beers and things. And then on the right, inside that building, there's usually where we stop because someone that I go with a lot, who is in my kitchen, loves the limoncello, and the wine.
That's
so
a very
we'll do a little bit.
So Dallas just ran away. I'll say so. Italy, right? So first of all, I enjoy their limoncello mule at the mule cart. If you're walking into Italy, it's on the right hand side. Eric was talking about that. Yeah, Ali, we have to go to Via Napoli. Via Napoli is one of my favorite spots on property. And it's weird because it's one of the only places that will not take reservations same day. So you have to make reservations 24 hours in advance or put your name in and wait, which can take forever. I've told a story about me, Tom, and friends literally putting our name in. They said 40 minutes, and it took like an hour and 40 minutes, and it was a debacle. But once you're in and you're inside, it's a great experience. The food is great. Yep. I haven't had a bad thing. We've shared appetizers. We've done full pies. They bring in the water that has a very similar pH balance to the Italian water. They source it from Pennsylvania, I believe. But the pizza is very good, and that's coming from a New Yorker. It's delicious. I'm sad to hear Eric had a bad experience at Tutto Gusto. I like that little wine stop. If you have some time to kill and you're in no rush, I had Lauren's parents visit the last time we had people here, and it was a hot part of the day. Like, we didn't go inside to the beer garden. So like when you're in Germany, you're outside a lot of the time and in and out of shops. Equatorial Africa, you're outside. China, you're outside. I feel like this is a nice spot to kind of rest your feet and get some more air conditioning. So if you go into the Tutto Gusto cave, you can get a great cheese plate. They can either pair it with the wines or you can pick your own wines. I do the wine flights when I'm in there, and it's not cheap, but it's not super pricey if you're doing the wine flight. For Disney, for me, I'd say it's right. It falls into the Disney fare wheelhouse. And because, again, it depends on their pours, and if you have a good server, you can have bad experiences, and I hate when people have a bad experience with Disney. I've had bad experiences too. I give everything a second shot. I'm lucky enough to live here, so I can go to places more than once and say that was the server was having a bad day that day. Let me give this place another shot. But I like Tutto Gusto. Anyone can talk to me with an Italian accent, and I melt. I don't care, male, female, just speak Italian to me, and I'm just like, yes, I'll have that wine. Anything you want, just bring it to me. Feed me the cheese, please. So yeah, cheese, a little cheese bread, crackers, wine, air conditioning. Stop. I'm all about it. Tutto Gusto. I've never eaten in Tutto Italia, but I've heard it's good. I haven't eaten there yet. Personally, if I'm there, I'm going to Via Napoli. Yeah. So, all right, Eric, you went one time. You got to give it a second chance.
Yeah. Well, I've never been treated like people were. I'm sorry. I went. It was a special occasion. They were kind of like arrogant, I guess. And then I ordered something, and within less than 10 minutes, the food was out there on the table. Like, I kind of wanted to, it was a special occasion. I'm there to eat, but I don't really want my food immediately. I could enjoy a glass of wine, and then, we're eating and they're standing there tapping their toe. Like, are you done yet? And I was like, is there a problem? And they're like, no, sir, we just tried to keep the tables moving. And I was like, I've been here for 26 minutes. And you're tapping your toe at me at a restaurant that's not cheap. So, anyway.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I've spent way more than a half an hour just in the little wine cave area, not Tutto Italia, but next door is Tutto. And I've hung out there for a long time, just hanging out. Because I've walked out, actually, and been like, no, we're going back in. It's still 106 degrees outside.
I might have misspoke about the name. I like whichever one's the wine cave, Tutto
Gusto is the
restaurant is Tutto Italia, and I'm no good.
Tutto Italia is more the restaurant end.
Yeah.
So I recommend, again, I haven't eaten there personally. Eric seems like he didn't have a 10-star experience. So maybe Via Napoli if you want to sit down, but if you want to grab a quick little cheese plate or wine, Tutto Gusto is not bad. They got cool shops. They also have what I call by the drive-by wine and Peroni cart. That if you just stay on the main strip without going into the pavilion, if you want to grab a Peroni, if you want to grab a glass of wine, you can do that as well. This is also one of the stops on the wine walk where you can get your book stamped, fill up your wine glasses, and move. All right, let's see if we can do the America Pavilion in 4 minutes. So that way I can bring on Carol. And then once Carol is done, we are going to finish Around the World Showcase. Whoever is still able to hang out, that would be awesome. I'd appreciate it. So We made it to America. We're coming to America. All right, that's my Neil Diamond for the day. I got it out of the way. What are we doing in America, everyone? Thoughts on our homeland?
So I always catch the Voices of Liberty 100% of the time, if I can. I don't know. The new bar at the Regal Eagle Smokehouse is pretty cool. They got a lot of good options. Otherwise, there's usually some good craft beers in America, or Samuel Adams. Some people consider a craft beer, I guess. I don't think there's anything that knock your socks off memorable about it, but maybe that's because I live in America and it's what I'm used to. I don't know. Maybe they've captured America perfectly.
Anyway, so why do I need to stop here? Yeah. What about you guys? What do you think about the America Pavilion?
I'm kind of in agreement. It's the same, yeah. Honestly, if we're stopping there, it's usually for the bathroom because I like their giant bathrooms. I think they're nice.
It is a doozy. It's a good one.
I mean, that's America. Like, it's a big bathroom, and you're like, this is great. I have not been to Regal Eagle yet. I'm excited to try that on my next trip. It was supposed to be last week, but here we are. But if I am stopping there, it's going to be a funnel cake and craft beer. So,
no diggity dog out. What do you think, Allison?
I think that's a funny but incredibly valid point. They have just massive bathrooms, and they're almost always clean. They don't always get that in Epcot, which is very, very important. I was able to. Yeah, there you go. I went to the Regal Eagle, and I really liked it. I love barbecue food. I love that they have all different types of barbecue sauces, and they inform you of where each type of barbecue sauce kind of originates. Like, this one is very like from Tennessee. They do it like their barbecue sauce like this, and like all different other states, this is how they do their barbecue sauces. And some are more tangy, some are like a blend of a barbecue sauce and honey mustard kind of blend, which is very interesting. So I really, really liked Regal Eagle when I went there. And I always enjoy Voices of Liberty, of course, and when they have the concerts going on at the theater, that's always a good time, especially when they have like, I've seen Hanson there, which was a lot of fun. I saw Sugar Ray, which is a lot of fun too. I love that stuff.
Every morning there's a... Yeah, I love the concerts. It's one of the best parts of being a local is when we moved down here, Food and Wine started like 3 weeks later, and being able to go to Epcot like 3 nights a week for concerts was like the best. Yeah. So I did spend a lot of time in the American Pavilion. If I was visiting from out of town, I would also stop by for the bathrooms. I will say the Regal Eagle Smokehouse and the little craft beer stop, I was way more excited for. I thought they were going to bring in some super cool and weird beers. You call it a craft, area. They did bring in, I'm an IPA drinker, so they did bring in a new IPA. They had a tangerine IPA, which was good. Again, you can get it almost anywhere outside of Epcot, but it's the only place on Disney property you can get that beer, so that was cool. Besides that, their entire beer list can pretty much be found in other spots around the world, showcase or Disney property. So I'm just a little upsetting there. I'll say this. I thought the barbecue food was good. I love being out there when the smoker's actually on and you're breathing in. You smell the food cooking and that brisket and that pulled pork. It smells amazing. It's a great atmosphere. I love that every table has a roll of paper towels. I am a big fan of having plenty of napkins. I hate dirty, sticky hands. So I'm huge. That's big for me. And I do like on the other side, the little, I believe it's Block and Hans, usually has an IPA on draft. Most of the time it's a Dogfish Head something, or they have the Defender IPA. So those are good. And obviously you get the funnel cakes over there. Everyone loves the funnel cakes. America's a cool stop. I mean, obviously we're going there for whatever festival is happening, probably to see a show on that stage. We're seeing a Flower and Garden show. We're seeing the Broadway stars for Festival of the Arts. We're seeing the big acts for International Food and Wine. And then during the Christmas time, we're going to see the Candlelight Processional. So yeah, that's America. When we come back, I really do want to finish the World Showcase. We're gonna finish it. I promise. We're gonna do Japan, Morocco, France, the UK, and Canada. But we need to take a quick break so I can bring in our special guest of the day. We have Carol Stein from the UK Pavilion. She is the wonderful woman you see, the extremely talented woman on the keys when you walk into the Rose and Crown, talking with the crowd, making up songs as she goes. And she has a history in a little piano improvisation, and we're going to get into all that.
Oh.
This is Party with Pete. Make sure you smash the like button. Hang in there for a little bit. Go get a refill. You're not going to want to miss this interview. We'll be back in 5 with Carol Stein of the UK. See you in a little bit.
Are you tired of your monorail always sputtering to a stop?
I know I am.
You don't even have one.
Of course I do. It's the rusted paperweight out in the garage.
Well, if you're like me and my brother, you know how hard it could be to keep your monorail up and running, and that's why we're here to help you fix your monorail problems. So join us, Tick and Tack, the Patchett Brothers, for Monorail Talk every Saturday morning. And hear calls like this.
So, I have this old Mark IV monorail passed down from my grandparents, and I'd like to restore it.
Ooh, a Mark IV?
Yeah, but every time I turn it on, it makes a noise like wah, wah.
Yeah, whir noise, that's not good.
Not good at all. I think that's the coupler unit. Bob Gerd told me about the whir problem back in 76, so was it 78?
It was a long time ago either way.
So we're in the monorail, and the window just falls off.
How's that even happen? What'd they do, secure it with super glue?
More like crazy glue. But seriously, when it fell, did it hurt anyone?
Just a college program cast member, I think.
Well, they're a dime a dozen.
A dime a dozen.
Next caller is Bob from Burbank. Bob, welcome to Monorail Talk. How can we help you?
Yeah, long-time listener, first-time caller. Let's say I had a fleet of Mark VI monorails. I'm just curious, how long can I get away with running them until they, I don't know, explode?
They haven't already?
I might agree with my brother on this, but that depends on how often you run them.
Oh, all day and every day.
But fairly empty, I assume?
Oh, heck no. They're the gills with people. Just really full.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. In that case, time for a new fleet for sure. Anything else we could help you with?
Well, what do you guys know about gondolas?
So join us for Monorail Talk on your local public radio station. And remember, don't ride like my brother.
And don't ride like my brother.
With the success of Pizza Rizzo and the Regal Eagle Smokehouse, we here at Walt Disney Imagineering have learned that our guests love bad counter service food with minimal Muppets theming. So, here comes more Muppet eateries at Disney parks. Yay! At Disney's Hollywood Studios, grab a wrapped sausage at Rolf's Roasters. Rolf has relocated to the edge of the galaxy to pick up piano-playing gigs at Oga's, but the money hasn't been great, so Rolf the dog has started slinging dogs at Black Spire Outpost's hottest new wiener joint. If you're visiting Epcot in 2022, get ready for a lightly rethemed dining experience that somehow took us 2 years to complete. It's Dr. Teeth and the Electric Umbrella. Can you just picture that? Imagine eating a dry flatbread to saying goodbye while you sit there and think about all of your favorite things we've ripped out of this park. Are you excited? Well, we won't take no for an answer. Then, head on over to Disney Springs for a trio of Muppets eateries. Grab some barbecue at the Miss Polite Piggy, some affordable chicken tenders from Chicken Gonzo's, and stop by the West Side for Pepe by Pepe. And no, not Jose Andres.
Come have a sandwich, okay?
And at Disney's Animal Kingdom, our most popular concept is getting a second home. Be sure to visit Pizzafari after we finish converting it into Pizza Rizzo 2.
They're tourists. They don't know good pizza.
The Muppets. We won't do anything new with them, but let's plaster their images in the background of restaurants.
Welcome back. We are at the halfway point. This is Party with Pete here on WDWNT, and thank you for watching, wherever that may be, whether you're watching us here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Periscope, Twitter, Crowdcast, Twitch, at your neighbor's house on their television. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate that. If you want to interact with the show, and we are going to have you interact, especially with our next guest, please jump into the YouTube.
Oh, no, I can't hear him.
Can you hear me, Carol?
I can't hear you.
Oh, no. Well, this might be a blessing in disguise.
Oh, no. Can't hear you.
Oh, no. Let's...
Oh, we lost Carol.
I would say...
Can't hear you.
Oh, no. Can you guys hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear you.
I can hear you, yes.
You can hear me? All right, maybe we'll...
I'm going to
Carol,
go
can you...
on again, okay?
Do that. That's a good idea. That's what I was going to tell you to do, but I realized you can't hear me. So that works.
Hopefully.
Anyway, in case you are just tuning in, we've been working our way around the World Showcase, and that was because Carol currently, fingers crossed, is still employed by Disney and working at the UK Pavilion in the Rose and Crown pub. Hi, Eric. What is happening right now? What is going on? Hey, Carol's back, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to bring on to the show Carol Stein of the UK Pavilion. She's over at the Rose and Crown, but she has been with the Disney company for over 20 years now, correct?
Wow.
Going on 30.
Holy moly, 30 years. I kind of, before we get into playing and hanging out, I want to know a little bit more about you. I wore my Pleasure Island shirt today because I know that.
I saw that. I wore a Pleasure Island button to match your shirt.
Oh,
I like that. That's awesome. Can you kind of walk us through? Because I think you've had one of the most coolest careers at the Walt Disney Company, doing everything that's fun, exciting. I wish I could have just been in your shadow for your entire career. Can you walk us through that? Walk us through something like how you got started. Yeah, you sound great.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for having me. This is so exciting. Party with Pete and the gang.
Yeah.
I love how we're going off to Epcot.
We're all hanging out. Everyone wants to see you. And we also have a large audience online as well who are very excited to see you. So let's tell people a little bit about Carol. Like, how'd you get started with the Walt Disney Company, and where'd you go from there? Oh, we're drinking. Cheers. Yeah,
No,
sure.
it's ginger ale. I promise it's ginger ale, but it's a Rose and Crown glass. But it's ginger ale.
Okay, me too. I promise this is ginger ale.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm a Florida native. I grew up here, and my father was in real estate, and so he was selling homes to people that built Disney. So Disney's been here since I was a little girl, and very exciting that it's still here. And I went to University of Florida. I'm a Gator, yay! And then I moved, yay! When I moved to Switzerland after university, I had a job in Switzerland. So I was out of the country for many, many, many years in Europe and Asia, just traveling around, playing piano. And I came home to visit, and Disney saw me performing somewhere in Florida when I was visiting and asked me to work for them. And at the time, I still loved traveling. So I went back to Hong Kong, went back to Europe, and traveled many years. Wow. And then whenever I was home, I would play for Disney. So in 1990, I started performing. My very first day was at the Grand Floridian Resort.
That's so beautiful. So that, in case anyone doesn't know, when you walk into the Grand Floridian, there's this beautiful grand piano. Kind of sets the atmosphere and the tone for your entire stay at the resort. And to me is so iconic, Grand Floridian. So that's a super cool gig. How long were you there for?
Well, I was subbing because I was still living in Europe and Asia. So I would walk in. It's where my heart is. Matter of fact, my husband and I got married there. It is so elegant. It is so romantic. It is so Victorian. I just love everything. It's my happy place, is the Grand Floridian.
For sure, I get that.
And then so they said, well, you read music. He said, we need a sub tonight. And they would just stick me in places. And I did the hoop-de-doo, and I would do Kids of the Kingdom. Do you remember Kids of the Kingdom?
So cool. Yeah,
Do you remember Kids in the Kingdom Band?
I should remember that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, I do.
Most of us weren't kids anymore by the time it closed, trust me.
Yeah.
But we did. So anywhere they had a pianist, one time they had me at MGM Studios. Well, it was called MGM Studios back then, sorry.
Yeah.
And right near where there was Roger Rabbit, right across from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and they had a piano there. And I would just play the piano and take requests and play there. And the Brown Derby. Do you remember the Brown Derby used to have a pianist?
I do.
So
That's one of my favorite
Brown
restaurants.
Derby.
So all things Brown Derby, I'm a huge fan of.
And they trained me in all these different places. So whenever I was home from Europe or Asia, I would just sub. And they kept asking me to come home to perform full time, but I I still love traveling around the world. I'm just a wanderlust baby. I love traveling. Whether it's Alani at Disney, whether it's the Greek islands, we just went to South Africa on a safari. I love traveling. So finally they wanted me to do the Comedy Warehouse.
Yes.
And that's why, and I came home to work at Disney for the Comedy Warehouse, which was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life.
The Comedy Warehouse, for those of you who don't know, was an improvisational show at what is now Disney Springs. It was Pleasure Island. As a huge fan of improv, and then eventually getting into improv myself in high school, college, and my early 20s, I used to just go and sit and be in awe. And a big part of that was you too, because I mean, doing improv on stage as a performer is one thing, but you are also improving on the keys. You have to keep up musically. How did that work? Oh, Butters is that's Eric's dog, Butters. That's not me, by the way.
What made me so excited to work there, Chris Oyen was our show director. He was our godfather. And I've always improvised on the piano. I used to take Beethoven songs and turn them into jazz, or I'd take jazz songs and turn them into concertos. I love to improvise. And so this was just like a glove. I just fell in love with this. But the art of improv and working with these amazing world-class improv artists was just, I was like a sponge. Oh my gosh, it was so exciting. And to this day, we are all family. All of us are still, even though Pleasure Island closed in 2008, that's 12 years ago, we all still talk on the phone and visit each other. And matter of fact, Tim Goodwin was from Adventurers Club, and it was his 30th anniversary with Walt Disney World on Monday. So we went over there dressed up like the adventurers and brought a cake and balloons and celebrated. It's just, we're still family.
I love that. Anything to do with that, even the Adventurers Club, I mean, with WDWNT, we threw an event last year for the 30th anniversary of Pleasure Island. We did what we called Pleasure Beach instead of Pleasure Island. And we reunited the Adventurers Club performers on stage. And they did a whole performance, and we had our own fireworks outside of the Beach and Yacht Club. It was an amazing night. One of my favorite events we have ever done. But yeah, I miss the old Pleasure Island days, and the Comedy Warehouse was such a big part of that.
Well,
so before we move on, what was it like during those years? Like, so I mean, were there nights where you guys just completely lost it? Like, you have to maintain your composure. You are the music behind the act. Like, what was that like being there every night? I can only imagine.
Well, the most amazing improv and the funniest moments were in the green room in between shows.
I'm sure.
They are never off. They are just brilliant. They are clever. They are intelligent. They are funny. They are kind. It's an amazing group. And to be the musician working with actors, I happen to love it. I love accompanying great singers. I love working with the actors. It's different. Now, I love playing with my jazz band and I love playing with orchestras, but working with musicians and working with actors are different.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
And it's like, you have to be engaged in the entire scene. You know, the improv, as you know, because you studied it, it's yes and. Yes and. Whatever they say, yes, and then you take the story and bring it further. So that's musically too. They say whatever they do, you're there for them. You're supporting them, but you're listening to them. But once in a while, they yes and you. They might say the name of a title, and you're supposed to create a country western song, and you do that. But then I might turn it into a jazz, or the creativity of where it goes, and everybody yes ands everybody to further everything, and it's pretty exciting, and it's always on the moment. It's always fun. That's why I love it. It's never the same. Just like at the Rose and Crown, it's never the same.
Oh, I was gonna say the crowd's there, but you make such a good point about that improv, and like a big part of that is, and the reason I loved doing improv for so many years is that it's really not about you; it's about making everyone better. So you are constantly feeding everyone else, and you're leading the next person to make them look better, and to further the scene, and then eventually get that the laughs will come no matter what.
Because if everyone's making everyone else look better, then everybody looks great.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good point.
Just to that point, Pete, to that point, I wasn't trying to upstage anyone by holding Butters up in front of the camera. Lee had to leave because the swimming pool opened for the first day. I think she went to go swim, and she can't just leave. Butters would just go dashing out the door, so I had to hold. It was a safety thing. Sorry, guys.
It's fine.
That's okay. We think you're so cool because Butters wanted to swim in the pool.
It was so good.
Pete, you're muted.
Pete.
So yeah, anyway, I was with the Comedy Warehouse. I was with them 18 years. The first 7 years, of course, I was CT. I was part-time because I was still traveling to Europe. And then I got to be part of the troupe, which is, like I said, we're still family today. And we had a big Zoom reunion with about 60 of us recently, and it was so much fun. It was great. And then that stayed until, like you said, in 2008 when they closed Pleasure Island down. And we were so sad. And I was very, very blessed. Matter of fact, I just got a call about 30 minutes ago from a man named Forrest Baruth. Do you know that name?
No.
Forrest Baruth has been with Disney since before it opened. He came over from California. So he's been with, it's going to be 50 years that we have Walt Disney World, of course, in 2021. Wow. He was the show director. He is a show director that he's created so many shows. Well, he created this position at the Rose and Crown called the Hat Lady. And it's because of him, I went to audition just like everyone else. When Pleasure Island was closing, I didn't know if I was going to go back to Europe or what I was going to do. And then 2 weeks before Pleasure Island was closing, they had auditions for the Hat Lady, which was the pianist entertainer at the Rose and Crown. And I went in and I did research on British pubs, and I learned a lot of British pub songs, and I made a hat, and I got an outfit all up so it looked like the Hat Lady, and I walked in there letting them think I knew exactly what I was doing. And they asked me to be the full-time Hat Lady, which at that time was, now I'm in the same position, but at that time they had all these different hats, and you would wear a Scottish tam, and I'd sing Scottish songs, or I'd wear an Irish hat, and I'd use Irish songs. I'd wear a bridal hat, veil, and I'd sing wedding songs. And it was a cute concept, and the hats were gorgeous. But then they changed the theme to just Carol Stein, pup musician. So now I don't wear the hats, which my hair appreciates.
Hey, Pete, I think you're muted, sir. Yeah, Pete, you're muted.
I muted myself again. I do that out of habit. No, I was going to say, because you used to have the big, beautiful, extravagant hats on the wall right alongside you. And then besides switching them, I'm guessing right next to or underneath the piano. Super fun. So how did that evolve? How did the Hat Lady evolve into our current iteration?
Well, Forrest Baruth came up with this concept of this flamboyant American woman who travels around the world and performs and sings. And he'd been working on that for 2 years before Pleasure Island closed. It was just a concept they came up with. And then timing was really pretty amazing because right before Pleasure Island was closing, that came up, and I was pretty much an American woman who travels around the world who entertains.
He was creating a Carol Stein. That's what he was creating.
That's it. That's just you.
No, it was funny because he was creating that 2 years before. And when I walked in and saw the costume that they designed, I loved that costume. I just loved it. And it was really fun. And then they switched the costume to this sparkly, it was kind of like the British flag, the UK red, white, and blue flag with sparkles all over it.
Yeah.
And then several years ago, they changed it to a much more subdued outfit.
Yeah, it looks. Yeah, I feel like it's more towards like the servers at the Rose and Crown. It looks a little more like, as opposed to this big showstopper, catch my attention outfit.
It's different. I'm used to sparkles and colors. It's different. They made it really, really comfortable. They put silk lining in it, and it was tailored toward. I'm the only one that wears that costume out of 80,000 cast members. So they really tried to make sure I was comfortable and happy. But the colors are not exactly the vibrant colors I would wear, but they fit the pub beautifully. It has the maroon, the dark maroon. And so, Disney, they're creative costuming people and they're designers. I love going in when I'm doing a special, if they ask me to do kind of special show and you walk in there and they create these costumes. The materials are so amazing. It's like walking into a candy store without the calories.
That sounds like my dream. So when you say these special shows, I'm kind of curious, just I would love to follow up. Like, what other events do they have you doing? What else goes on? Or like, what is that like? What are these special shows? We're like, hey, Carol, we know you're mega talented. We need a pianist over here. We need a pianist. Like, what goes on?
It depends, because I'm versatile. I can read music. If there's a show and they need me to read that music, that's what I do. If you need me to make up things on the spot, that's when they usually call me, because I can just, I create things. But like they had D23. I got to play, oh my gosh, I got to sit at the same piano as Richard Sherman one time.
I saw that picture, and I was going to bring that up, is that you got to sit alongside and play alongside Richard Sherman.
My heart.
What was that like?
Well, it was amazing getting to meet him, and it was amazing getting to sit at a piano with him. He is so kind. And, I was doing one of my concerts that I do for my living room, and I did a whole bunch of Disney things at the last one because people requested it. And if you take all the songs that the Sherman Brothers wrote, and all the lyrics, and all the melodies, if I sat there and went, you know the song, you know the words, you know the movie, it will bring you to a memory of something that when you first saw The Jungle Book, or every one of their songs are just genius and different. I mean, even if it's still genius. The words are fabulous. They usually are very positive and send a message of friendship, hope, But then they have their love songs, and then they have their, I'm sad song, and then they have a happy song. So to get to meet him was fabulous. I loved it. So it was Billy Flanagan was singing, and Laura Compton was singing, and I got to play for them for this D23. Then they have things like, recently I was able to do a private, it was amazing, a private show for just a couple who was celebrating their anniversary. And he wanted a private room with musicians, and a violinist and I performed, just the two of us, for those two people, for the whole night.
Wow. That's
one of my
favorites.
One of my favorites was there was I'm sorry, go on.
Oh, I was going to ask, have you ever got together and played with like with Yeehaw Bob, or been to one of his shows, or
Yeehaw Bob and I knew each other.
You know each other.
Yeehaw Bob and I knew each other before we both worked at Disney. We've known each other for over 30 years.
Oh wow!
So did you guys just because I don't want to throw that away? So you and Yeehaw Bob knew each other before Disney. Were you part of that scene too? Because I know he was on the show as well. He was on Party with Pete a few weeks ago. And I know he was over at Universal. I know, and you were over at the Gaylord for dueling pianos. And we've also had Rob Volpe on the show twice from Jelly Rolls here on Disney property. What is that community like? Where did you guys meet up and mix it up?
Well, that's a different community. I did Gaylord Palms dueling pianos one night. Oh,
okay.
They kept trying.
I saw it on your resume, and I was like, oh, I know that.
All these dueling piano places, they kept saying, Carol, come play. And that's a different style. That's, it's all Billy Joel and Elton John and that kind of stuff. And there's so many guys who do that, and they do it well. Ken Jameson, or Gustafsson is his real name. He's just fabulous at that. So I kept saying, they were opening a new place called Blazing Pianos. It was 3 red pianos. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. They said, yeah, we want you to do this. I said, no, I don't want to do that. Please come and do this. So I went to the audition. I wrote a song called Blazing Pianos. I played it. And they said, oh, we want you to do this. And I don't want to do this. I didn't want to do it. So, and my husband kept saying, you're frightened. You just don't think you can do it, do you? And I'm like, how dare you challenge me like that? So they asked me to play at dueling pianos at Gaylord Palms, which was less intimidating. And so I said, okay. So I practiced Brown-Eyed Girl and Billy Joel and Devil Went Down to Georgia. And I just practiced for about a week, every night doing that. And I went in and I did it. Got through the night. And the guy said, oh, that was so much fun. Will you come back? And I said, never.
There's your answer.
I love it.
My hats are off to those who do that. They work so hard. And they know thousands of those type of tunes. I'm more of a jazzer and musicals and Disney. Can I do it? Yes. Do I want to do it? I let those others who want to do it and do it well, I let them do it.
So how did you meet Bob? Because I'm curious. Going back
he and I met actually at Church Street Station back when Rosie O'Brien was.
Yeah.
But he played at a place in Switzerland that I used to play every year for many, many years. He played there one year too.
Wow.
Wow, that is such a small world.
Yeah. And let me tell you, he is as nice as he is talented. He is such a sweetheart. Sure. And when you see him on stage, he's incredibly energetic and vivacious. And off stage, he's a pretty mellow guy.
Huh.
Yeah. He is. I mean, and he stores that energy. And I tell people, I love anything to do with live performances. And I'm not just saying this because you're here, but even every time we go past and I'm bringing someone into the Rose and Crown for the first time, is they're like, wow, she's like really on today. I'm like, she is always on. Like, I've never seen, and I say the same thing about Bob, is that I take them to see Yeehaw Bob. It's one of my favorite things to do at night. When the parks are closed or we head over there for that second show, and I go, he does his first set, he's supposed to have a half an hour break. He just sits and talks to kids and families and signs autographs, does a second set, never turns off, and then it does his thing. But if you get him off stage, and we've talked, we've prepped and whatnot and done other things together, but yeah, he's a little more subdued, and it's strange. But when he is on and he's in front of an audience, he is nonstop, and he's also that he's so kind and sincere. And I would say the same for you, is that like Disney, I guess, just knows how to find and pick out talent, because you guys are like incredible on and off the stage.
First of all, we love what we do. We love it. And we feel so honored that we get to do it for Walt Disney World. Trust me when I say that. I don't say that lightly. I say it sincerely with all my heart. We love what we do. We love our guests. That's why I ended up starting these Wednesday night concerts, because I missed my guests. It was St. Patrick's Day. But real quick story. My husband and I did a cruise from England to Russia a year and a half ago. And it was going to, Holland and Denmark and Estonia and Russia. And I happened to be looking at Facebook and saw Bob was going to be in Finland. His daughter was graduating with her master's degree from Helsinki the same time we were going to be. So I texted him and said, hey, let's meet for breakfast in Helsinki. He said, okay. So we did. We met for breakfast in Helsinki.
That would have
been so cool.
As a Disney fan, like I think our viewers and anybody on this panel, if we had just walked into some restaurant and
that's what I was thinking too.
Carol and Yeehaw Bob having breakfast together. I thought I was in an alternate universe.
Yeah, like I'm in Finland. I walk into this little place and I go, I'm losing my mind. I'm pretty sure I just saw Carol and Yeehaw Bob having a meal together here in Finland.
My God, that's Piano Rob that just ran by.
Yeah, I'd be like, I gotta quit drinking because it looks just like them. I swear it was them. Oh man, that's too funny. I love that. I love that you guys have relationships outside of Disney as well. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, we really love working with the Disney company. First of all, if you're going to work with Disney, it's going to be done right, and you're going to be working with other people who are really talented. When I was saying that Comedy Warehouse actors, they're just brilliant. Some of them now who are not with Disney, Paul Vogt, he was up in Chicago on the Broadway show of Chicago. He was the mama who replaced Harvey Fierstein in Good Morning Baltimore, Hairspray. He was the lead role in Hairspray.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah. Kelly Holden, she's been doing, she was in Fargo. And I mean, a lot of people from Disney do amazing things. Sometimes come back to Disney and sometimes just, move on. Sometimes they do a lot of things and then they come to Disney. It's a really talented group of people who really care about each other. So
I love that so much. So let's walk through a fun day now in the life of Carol. So you go to work, what is it like? What time do you have to get there, get in costume? Do you have a plan? Is there certain things you look for? Walk us through a day in your life.
When I work at Epcot, I get up and I usually go in shorts and a t-shirt and I walk. I love to walk around the lakes at the boardwalk, or we'll walk to the studios and back, or just around the parks, depending on what's going on. And then I go and I get showered and change there. They have my costumes there, and I have a trailer that I get to, get all dressed up in, and they have all my makeup for me, and the customers come in. The best part of the day, you walk in and your customers are there. Is everything okay? Do you need anything? They take such good care of us. Oh, the customers,
It sounds
they
like
work so hard.
He sounds like Eddie Murphy in Coming to America, like all the people bathing him and getting him dressed.
Is that how it is? Is that how it works, Carol? Same thing?
Yeah, right. Yeah, and we get paid the same that Eddie Murphy does.
That's amazing. Wow.
No wonder you're happy all the time.
You put on your lipstick, and then you get to walk. It's only a couple-minute walk from my trailer to the Rose and Crown, but I get to walk right at the back entrance of Epcot, where the new cable car thingies, what are they called?
Yeah, the Skyliner. Yeah.
Skyliner.
Disney
Right?
Skyliner.
It's not far from the Skyliner. So at that back entrance, and usually Mickey and Minnie are there now, or some of the wonderful Disney friends and characters. And that's how I get to start my day. I get to share a green room with Mickey Mouse.
Wow, that is exciting. See him put on his mouse makeup. Goofy's got to be chopping it up in the green room.
Minnie and I wear the same color lipstick.
There you go.
Fun fact. You only get that here.
So we get to walk, and I just walk to the pub, and then I walk in, and I usually start greeting everybody. I take a few minutes before I sit at the piano. I go to the back of the pub. I want to see who's there. What's their story? Yeah. What are you celebrating? First time here? Or there's people that come all the time. It's just their place they go. Some people have year passes, and they come 4 or 5 times a week to the Rose and Crown pub. And then I talk with the bartenders, see how they're doing, make sure everything's good. And, you get the ambiance, the layout of the land, what's going on that day. Maybe it's Food and Wine Festival. Maybe it's Flower and Garden Festival. Maybe it's been raining horribly and everybody's sad. And then you have your work cut out for you. You want to make sure they're happy. They don't care about that rain because they're at the Rose and Crown pub at Epcot. Maybe some kid is really having a rough day. I make sure before he leaves, he's smiling and there's no more tears. And so I gear each show depending on who's there. If there's a lot of people from Ireland, I do a lot of Irish songs. If there's a lot of people from England, I do a lot of British songs. If I do people from Scotland, I'll do Scottish songs. If there's college kids and they ask for Don't Stop Believing, I do it. Sweet Caroline is one of those that the bartenders really wish I would say no to, and I try to say no, but And then I find out who's celebrating, and then I try to celebrate them. If it's an anniversary, if it's an engagement, people have proposed right there, and I make up songs about them, and I try to engage each guest and celebrate you, because you came in there, and I'm honored you came in to have a pint and listen to me, so I'm there for you, whatever you want to hear, or if I can make up a song about you to make your day better, that's what I do.
Wow. Well, you said you went to the University of Florida, right? Oh, I'm sorry, Pete. I was go ahead. University of Florida? You went to the University of Florida, is that correct? You said you went to UF?
I studied piano with Catherine at Rollins, private lessons. And Catherine Carlo was my classical teacher. And then I went to University of Florida I'm a Gator, but I got a master's in dental science as well because I wanted to make sure I wanted to make sure I wasn't a starving musician. So I became a dental hygienist.
Okay.
That's very, very smart.
Tickling ivories in a totally different way. I get it.
Right. And I did it. I kept my license up until 3 years ago. I kept my dental hygiene license up just in case.
Is that when you knew you finally made it? You were like, I don't have to worry about this anymore.
No, I knew I was at an age where I didn't have to do it.
That's so funny. That's so interesting. All right, so let's say, so you sit down. Like, what are some of your favorites? What do you love to play? Let's hear some music. I'm in the mood. I'm excited. I'm looking at the piano. What are some of your favorites?
You mean of Disney, when I'm performing at Disney?
Sure, or I mean anything. You could walk us through it. I am at your mercy. So I just love
I'll tell you what.
Music.
I composed a song called Walt Disney World. How about I do that?
Oh my God, that's perfect.
Yes. Okay. As I look upon the castle, spires reaching up so high, colors swirling all around me, pixie dust up in the sky. All my restless apprehensions seem to simply disappear. Looking around in total wonder, now believing I am here. Walt Disney World, where hopes and dreams come true. Walt Disney World, there's fantasy for me and you. Ever since I was a child, I'd wish upon that star. Walt Disney World, here you are. Walking down on Main Street, music everywhere. People laughing, photographing. There is magic in the air. Ready for adventure. Listening to that big brass band. Carousels and teacup rides. And happiness in Fantasyland. Walt Disney World, where hopes and dreams come true. Walt Disney World, there's fantasy for me and you. Ever since I was a child, I'd wish upon that star. Walt Disney World, here you are. There's a jungle expedition. You can hear a lion roar. See a yeti or a tiger. On a banshee you can soar. Sail away to frozen lands. Talk with a turtle in the sea. Meet a pirate or a princess. Dreams become reality. Walt Disney World, where hopes and dreams come true. Walt Disney World, there's fantasy for me and you. Ever since I was a child, I'd wish upon that star. Walt Disney World, here you are.
Oh my God, I can't handle this. It's so good.
Oh my God, I have chills all over. The entire chat, congratulations, you made everyone cry across not only America, just so you know, we have people watching in South America, in Europe, and all over the world, and they absolutely love that. That was incredible.
Oh,
how have they not bought
the... Oh, Tadara.
And thank you to Pat Mix75 and Amina. People are donating money in our super chat to keep the show alive. So thank you so much to Amina and Pat.
Thank you.
And everyone else. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Does Disney know this song exists, and how have they not purchased the rights to it? Like, that just gave me chills, and I'm fighting back tears because I'm like just looking around at other things so I don't get upset. It's such a beautiful piece of music.
Thank you. I was just walking, you know, when you write, when you compose, usually you're inspired by something. And one day I took friends that had come visit from Europe, and we were walking around, and it was one of those perfect days, blue skies. We had fast passes. It had a breeze. It wasn't one of those, it was just, everything was just magical. It was crazy. We got there early in the morning, stayed till the fireworks late at night, and saw so many of my friends perform, and everyone was so gracious to us, and all my friends that performed there would make sure they would involve the people from overseas, and everything about it was just, and I'm walking around the park going, you know, it really is something special. The guests, there's a reason that you are here doing what you do, and by the way, thank you for what you do to educate and inform and inspire everybody for this. I love this company so much. It does more than just create balloons and fireworks. You know more than anyone. They give money to education. They help people all over the world. They're saving animals all over the world. They're involved in the ecology, in saving our waters and our lands. They are inspiring. We have a program called Aspire at Walt Disney World, where they're paying for the education for people to get university. They do so much behind the scenes. It's an amazing, and that's another reason I really love the company. So we're having one of those days, and I'm just going, oh, look at that castle up so high. Look at these colors. Oh, look at these balloons. Oh, listen to the band. Oh, those marching, those guys in the band. I know most of them. They are, and I was just, and I just started writing this. I went home and I said, oh my gosh, and I just started writing this song, and I just wrote it for me. I just wrote it. And then one day I was, they were having auditions at Disney, which we still all go to for various things. And I said, no, I'm going to play that. This is not, this song is about a couple of years old. I just wrote it. And they went, wow, we like that. We're going to give that to somebody. And it hasn't happened yet. But so I just love playing it. I just love it. And a friend of mine, he has sung it in a cabaret that we did together. His name is Billy Flanagan. Do you know Billy?
Why does that name sound familiar? It sounds very familiar.
Oh my gosh, you have to have him on your show. He's a Disney legend. He's been at Disney 38 years maybe. He's an actor, singer, dancer. He's a host. He's done every role. I'll give you his information afterwards.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that would be incredible.
He's amazing.
Yeah, and everyone that works for the company is. I mean, you're right. It's Disney knows what they're doing in terms of, and I can't even get into. I'll get emotional, but you're right. I mean, besides the emotional connections and the way they make people feel on the back end, the things they're doing for the planet, and everyone teases them, and obviously they're a company that's publicly traded, so they have to make money. But where they're, how they, look what they've done with solar just in Florida alone, and how they can run their parks just off solar energy, and how they're not, taking the resources from the planet. And they've made strides. You see them moving to the paper straws, and you've seen them try to use the reusable bags. They've been on the forefront since the 50s on trying to do the right thing by the planet and experimenting with other and people. Well, like you said, the education, the Aspire program.
It all comes down to Walt's philosophy, which is what we are based on. We haven't strayed. Sometimes, it's a big company and you have different leaders and it goes like this, but there's a foundation of traditions that are still the reason why it's a successful company. And it's the talent that these animators, oh my goodness, these vocalists that they hire to do the movies, these writers, the set designers. Have you been watching any of the Disney Plus things where they're showing the props? Have you seen the props?
I've seen it. I've seen everything. Yeah. If it's a behind the scenes at Disney, I have seen it.
and the Imagineers thing that they do on Disney Plus, it shows you what goes in the process of doing Disney. Disney didn't just happen. It has successes and failures, and they learn from those failures. They dust themselves off. They take what they learned from that, and they try to make it better. Every park. We went to the Shanghai Disney Park not long ago, but before it was closed, obviously. The Shanghai Disney Park and the Hong Kong Disney Park. That Shanghai Disney Park, they took the best of what we have and added 21st century technology to it. It is phenomenal. It is gorgeous. But they learn from every park, whether it's how to guide the people through, how to make the ride, how to make the wait, whatever they learn, and it gets better and better and better. And that park, this shirt, this is from Shanghai Disney.
Oh,
that's neat.
That's a cute shirt.
I was gonna say I really like your shirt. I love that shirt.
Yeah,
so
fun.
I gotta go to Shanghai, I guess, to get that shirt now.
Carol, you would be perfect on the One Day at Disney. Is that the name of the show where they follow cast members that have unique jobs? That would be like they've had everything from people who are on hosts on on TV to the guy that like scuba dives and cleans up the submarine rides and the water rides. I mean, I think you would be an interesting story. They should.
How do we get her on?
Well,
How do we get her part of this?
People.
Thank you.
So
gracious.
When you walking through, because I'm just loving now, I'm in the mood just to hear more music. But and I've seen you hundreds of times, at least. But and it's great because you do, and I that's why I said how do you start your day? Because I assumed that you kind of walked or figured out your crowd and kind of played to your audience a little bit. So what? How do I phrase this question? How do you start your set? Are you just sitting down and saying, "Hey, what do you want to hear?" Or are you going to play to someone?
No,
how do you start that set?
Often I wrote a song for the audition that I did called Welcome to the Rose and Crown. I wrote a song called Welcome to the Rose and Crown. So I started with that, or I started with something very upbeat, whether it's a Disney upbeat song or just something upbeat and happy, just to get everybody, hey, cheers or whatever, just something happy, because that's what you want to do. You want to make everybody happy. And then from there, you never know. I mean, there's certain people that come in like 3-4 times a year. They live in Iowa, but they have year passes. And there's certain songs they love. So you start playing one of those songs, and all of a sudden they get all excited and they sing along, and you put their names in it because, you get to know these people. I have such dear friends in my life that I've met they were Disney guests. And,
wow.
And so and then there's people who you just met and they said, oh, my dad was here and you played for his 50th anniversary and they play that video at home and you remember them. You remember people because it's important it's such an intimate venue. I mean, we're like we are here. I talk to you. For example, okay, Pete, where are you from?
I'm from New York.
And what made you get into being a Disney Party with Pete guy on the WDW News?
I love seeing people in their best element or atmosphere. I love people with a smile on their face. I love seeing a father and daughter embracing. I love seeing tears in a mother's eye. I believe that there's good in the world, and we see most of it at Walt Disney World.
I like that. And who's your favorite Disney character?
It's got to be my man Goof. The Goof is a man after my own heart.
Well, there you go. So I would do something like, I came on to WDW News today. I got to meet Pete. Here's what he had to say. He loves Goofy from the start because he makes him laugh right down to his heart. He comes from New York City, it's true. And he loves to be at Disney where there's happiness for you. And just like the fireworks up there above, the love and happiness Disney provides, that's what gives Pete such love. I'm so glad you had me on your program, my dear. So everyone lift your glasses and give Pete a great big cheer.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
And that's what I would do.
I was going to say that one of my favorite experiences was I brought in a buddy of mine visiting from New York, and he's like, oh, Disney's not for just adults. You got to have kids and whatnot. And he was grumpy. And I said, why don't we'll have give me a day. Come in, just buy a 1-day pass. So I plan on rope drop until fireworks. And so we do Future World in the morning. We're working our way around the World Showcase. And I take him into the Rose and Crown. And it was so perfect because you kind of, not picked on him, but it was perfect. You spoke with him, but you teased him a little bit in the song. And it was amazing because his name was Rob and he was a DJ from New York. And you said something like, of course he's a DJ. And it was hysterical. And the whole Rose and Crown is laughing and singing along and this roaring applause, and he left there just in such a good mood. He's like, all right, I get why you come here. I get it. And it was so perfect. You mentioned in the chat, someone asked, and you literally just mentioned it, so I have to say, what kind of song would you play for a 50th anniversary? it was literally just a question, and it's funny because you just mentioned the 50th anniversary. What kind of music is there for a 50th anniversary?
Well, it depends on what year they were married, what year it is. Maybe they have a song that's their song. So what I would do first is to say, oh, what's your name? And what's your name? And how did you meet? How did you propose? What is your profession? And then I'd make up a song about them first, like I did for you.
Oh,
like, is anybody here, or any of you guys celebrating an anniversary anytime soon?
Eric, Allison, Allie?
I celebrated mine like a month ago.
And your name is Allison, right?
Yes.
Allison? What's the name of your hubby?
Lucas.
Lucas. And how'd you and Lucas meet?
We met through mutual friends who were also married.
And what city was that?
He lived in Toms River and I lived in Staten Island, so I guess I don't remember where we officially met in New Jersey, but I don't remember what city it was.
Okay, New Jersey, you don't say. And where'd you go on your first date?
Oh, we went to a Japanese restaurant somewhere in Bricktown, I think.
Okay, and how did Lucas propose to you, Allison?
He proposed to me on the Tomorrowland Transit Authority People Mover.
Wow, that's so cool.
Love that.
And then what does Lucas do?
He's a stained glass artist.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
and what is your profession?
I'm a sign language interpreter.
Oh, you guys are amazing. Okay. So I would do something like, well, Lucas, his life is so much fun since he was able to marry the love of his life, Allison. He looked at her and thought she was so pretty. The two of them met somewhere in New Jersey. Now he decided one day to propose, and she said, yes, I do suppose. He looked her right from his heart, and she stained his world with love just like his stained work art. Now she's so lucky, she doesn't have to say words, you know. He can just sign language and he understands it so. We wish you many more years of happiness to you. Like in Tomorrowland, we hope all your tomorrow dreams come true. Congratulations, Allison and Lucas. We wish you many loud years of love, my dear.
Oh. Stop it. I can't handle this. This is so amazing. I hope he's listening right now. Lucas, text me if you just heard this, please.
We can play it back. We're saving this. I'm going to... this is going to be the most rewatched episode of the show. I'm going to rewatch the show all the time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, goodness.
I have to sample just the Walt Disney song. Oh, God, it's fantastic. All right, so I'm stealing all your time. I know you. I'm sure you have places to be. So just before we go, maybe we could just do, I don't know, a medley of some of your of the whatever you want to play or stuff you would play in the pub or whatever you think would be fun for our audience to hear. Everyone's loving every single time you touch the keys and sing anything. So whatever you feel like doing, let's just do that. Let's close on a high note.
Well, one of the most requested, there's an animator out in LA, in Glendale. His name is Robert Farrell, and he just had his 40th birthday. And he and his wife Emily are pirate fans. I mean, real pirate fans. They got married in St. Augustine on a pirate ship, and they were just like pirates. Cool. And they always request this. When they come in to visit from California, they're so bummed. They were supposed to be here, I think, this week. And so I'm going to play, if you know the words, sing along. And I'm going to do the Pirates of the Caribbean, a Yo-Ho, and then the other Pirates song mixed together. Okay? So if you know the words, sing along. Yo-ho, yo-ho, a pirate's life for me. We pillage, we plunder, we rifle, we loot. You got me, orders you owe. We kidnap and ravage and don't give a hoot. You got me, orders you owe. Yo-ho, yo-ho, a pirate's life for me. Yo-ho, yo-ho, a pirate's life for me. Extort, impel, for fishery sack, you got me, orders you owe. Marauding, embezzle, and even hijack, you got me, orders you owe. Yo-ho, yo-ho, a pirate's life for me.
Wow.
What just happened? Oh my God.
That's so good.
That
So
was
good.
spectacular. All of our fans watching are blown away. That is incredible. So good.
Yay, Disney fans. We love our Disney fans. We love you guys.
Love Disney fans. And please, if you are listening or watching, you have to go in and say hi to Carol at the UK at the Rose and Crown. Tell her you saw her here and give her a big hug for me. You're going to see me, Carol. I, of course, am the maniac that will be there on opening day, sitting right there waiting for the first performance. What else before we go? Did I miss anything? Is there anything else that I should have asked that I forgot to ask or that you want the audience to hear?
Just know that we're going to get through this time that we're going through now. And Disney's going to open when it's right, when we're all safe and healthy and able to enjoy all the magic that Disney has to offer. And when they let me know and they let you know, then we'll all be able to go back. But until that time, just keep enjoying all the magic of Disney that's around, like you guys presenting these shows and Disney Plus and all the wonderful things that still exist that we can still enjoy it. But we'll do it. We're going to get through it together.
Amen. Well, Carol, I want to thank you so much. This has been a real treat for me. This is fantastic. Thank you. Sincerely, thank you so much. And if you want to go learn more about Carol... Oh, please, just us. We're just hanging out. But go visit Carol's website because you do play other gigs outside of Disney, and you can learn more about Carol. And she's got great photo albums and all about your history over at carolstein.com. You can see it right there on the screen, as well as her social media. She's on Instagram, Facebook, and all that other stuff. Go follow her. Again, thank you so much, Carol. It's been a true pleasure. I really appreciate it.
Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy. Thank you, guys.
Bye, Carol.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And there it is, everyone. As promised, the amazingly talented Carol Stein. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to finish our World Showcase discussion. So please stick around. We'll be right back. This is Party with Pete.
Something has stopped us now. I'll tell you how. We're gonna live on through it. Let's stay inside and spend our time taking things in stride. Good times aren't held at bay. Just stay away from the population and wash your hands to kill off those bacterial strands. Now we're trying to keep a little distance. It's for sure our best resistance to making things a whole lot worse. Come on, kids, let's all go down to the sink. Wash those grubby little hands of yours. 20 seconds. You never know, it might just save a life. Something has stopped us now, but don't you fret, it'll for sure get better. We'll soon be hand in hand, going down to Disneyland. Oh, won't that be so grand, though something has stopped us now. Ah-cha-cha.
My fourth Disney trip of 2020 was canceled, and my one-woman authorized travel agency isn't getting any business with this closure. Help me, Ganondola.
Was your 500th in a lifetime Disney vacation canceled? Are you being selfish during a world crisis and want restitution for your losses as a travel agent? Call 1-777-777-7777 for the law offices of Gon and Dola.
Hello, I'm Bud G. Gon.
And I'm Roz Dola.
How dare the Walt Disney Company cancel your dream vacation? We say you make them pay for it.
We'll fight for you until you get a complimentary stay inside the Cinderella Castle Suite, because your trip cancellation is more important than anyone else's.
We may all be practicing social distancing, but why don't you try some money closening?
We'll even get you some extra fast passes.
It's going to be so busy when the parks reopen that you're going to need them.
Do you even believe what you're saying anymore?
Nope.
Gon and Dola also handle wrongful termination cases for CEOs appointed just before a global crisis, where the former CEO knew it was coming. Call 1-777-777-7777 for you to get the justice you don't actually need right now.
Hey, you. Want to design some Disney theme park merchandise?
Jeepers, mister. Do I ever.
From the people that brought you Disney Parks Clue 2019 edition, here comes merchandise.
It's a game? Okay, how do we play?
It's simple. Just take the intellectual property die and the item die, roll them, and see what you get.
It's a small world. Keychain.
Whoa! Cute and semi-affordable. That's worth 12 Mom Blog points.
This keychain is $13?
Cupcake mini ears.
Extra sweet. You get the Instagram bonus and a pass holder event to manage those crowds.
Donut cookie?
Dessert that looks like other desserts? A Disney classic.
Why not just make a donut?
I got Muppets. Mug.
Sorry, amigo. It looks like you're headed to the outlets.
Anyone want a Muppets mug? Now only $3.99.
Nope, still nobody. Boy, did we ruin that IP or what?
It looks like I'll win on the next roll. Retro Epcot.
Sorry, pal. Looks like you just lost the whole game.
Seriously? Nobody wants Retro Epcot merchandise?
Have you seen the amount of 35th anniversary merchandise still available?
Can we just make less? Maybe that's the problem.
So, how do you win this game?
The influencers will tell you.
Those all-seeing oracles of Disney culture?
That's right. Get 5 influencer cards and then you can shut down an Etsy store. Shut down 3 Etsy stores and you win.
Yay, capitalism!
Merchandise from the makers of Pretty Pretty Dessert Party and Disney Springs' Just Mall Madness. Buy it today.
Oh my gosh. I needed a minute. Had to throw some water in my face. I still have chills. And it's not helping that I can't believe that Carol from the UK is texting me. Like, what world do I live in if Carol is texting me, thanking me for being on the show? Like, what's happening in my life? That was incredible. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. I'd like to welcome back our illustrious panel. In the meantime, too, I'm just having so much fun with Carol. I forgot to thank Dawn for her amazing super chat as well. So thank you for your super chat, Dawn. I did not forget about you. Thank you. It truly means a lot. I also have to thank Devin. I believe he's in the chat. But Devin is the one who put me in touch with Carol. So without Devin, I couldn't have made that interview and performance happen. So thank you so much. He reached out and said that he had her contact information in an email to me, and then we took it from there. So thank you so much to you as well. Yeah, that was incredible. I was getting a little choked up. I had chills. Yeah. But Carol, is she not the best? She's so authentically kind.
Yeah. That was amazing. I was tearing up like a couple of times. Like, that was amazing. Somebody just sang a song about me on air. Like, that's crazy. That was amazing. And the Disney song that she did, the first one that she had written, is so it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. So I love it so much.
I already am going to cut out that portion of the show and just have it somewhere on my phone, just so I can play it back. Man, that was awesome. Again, thank you for everyone who is still here and watching with us. We still have a bunch of people watching. So thank you to all of you for sticking around. We are going to finish our discussion. We made it halfway around the World Showcase. We just finished up in the America Pavilion, and now we are headed over to Japan in our quest around the world, making our way around the World Showcase. So what are some of our favorite things to eat, drink, watch, see over in Japan? I'll let you guys kick it off.
I'll go.
I can start then. Did you want to go, Allison?
Donuts.
Okay.
Allison. If your name begins with A, just go for it.
Are we gonna? I love Japan so much. This is probably my favorite pavilion. I can spend like I'll go to Epcot and I'll spend like a really big chunk of my day in Japan. I've eaten at all of their sit down their table service restaurants. All of them wonderful. Takumi Thai, expensive but gorgeous. Food is amazing. Service is flawless. The rooms are beautiful. I even really like their quick service. It's not that expensive. You can get like a decent lunch for like $12, which is pretty good for Disney property. I love the Mitsukashi store. I love all of the things, and I love eating like the various Japanese snacks. Like my husband and like my friends are like, this is I love it. I love it so much.
Mystery packages.
Green tea, Kit Kat.
I love give me some green tea Kit Kats any day. I will take
what's in this
shrimp
bag?
chips.
I have no idea, but I'll buy it and then I'll try it. Why not?
I'll buy and I'll eat it. Shrimp chips, like seaweed things, love all of it. So I cannot wait to go back and get some Mitsukashi Japanese snacks. I'm so excited for it.
All right.
Get some Pocky.
All right, Allie, what are you doing in Japan when you're in Japan, Allie?
When we go to Japan, I have to thank you for introducing us to that sake flight that we were not aware of. So definitely hitting that up when we're there. Japan for us, again, being in LA, we have excellent Japanese food here, and we have a lot of markets that are like that market there, but it is fun to go in there. And that pop culture museum thing they had going on, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that. Yeah, super cute in there. Just, it's a cool area. And then, of course, always liked watching the drummers, but I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, fingers crossed, but yeah, we're going to miss Maporita.
Yeah. Always stop for the drummers. Didn't matter where we were. Just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Eric? What are you doing when you're in Japan?
I get sake, but usually we go inside for it. Although you introduced me to the one at the outdoor kiosk, which is just great too. I like to go inside and look at the weird stuff, though. Yeah, I like to go inside and look at the weird stuff, dried squid bits and whatever weird crap they have to eat in there. I'll buy some Pocky or some green tea Kit Kats every now and then, and maybe try a couple little weird things, but there's some different stuff in there. And then I always like to go in that store and paint and paint on that board with water. Like, I don't know. Yeah. One day I'll buy one. I always paint something. I always got to write my name or do something on there. I'm like a little kid, I guess. I have to do it. And then I haven't eaten at like Tokyo Dining. I've eaten at Teppan Edo, and I have not eaten at the place that's business casual. I forget what it's called. And yeah. So I thought that was being invited to a kumite, and I was like, no, man, I don't fight anymore. No, so no, Japan is great. I love it. I'm gonna miss the drummers most of all, though. That's
I think Japan is one of those hidden gems where every time I start thinking about it again, I'm like, oh yeah, and they have this. Oh yeah, and they have this. Starting, but right before you walk in, if there is a festival going on, for some reason, they have consistently good food at the Japan booth, no matter what the festival is, whether it's Flower and Garden, Food and Wine, Festival of the Arts. It's delicious. I love their booth that rotates, and it's a good value. The sushi donut at the last Flower and Garden.
Weird looking. That sushi donut was.
It was weird. It was delicious. Like, if you like sushi, the amount of sushi you got in this donut form for, I think it was like $8. Like that easily could have been $14. Yeah, it could have been 14 easily. Complete value. And then they usually have a sake cocktail and something beautiful, and the way they present it across the board too. And I'll just say this before I get into Japan: is the service in the Japan Pavilion is out of this world. They are so warm and welcoming. I've eaten at Tokyo Dining upstairs. I've eaten at Teppan Edo. Haven't done the expensive place yet. Downstairs, the new steakhouse, or whatever you want to call it, but Takumite, believe that they call themselves a steakhouse, but I don't know. Anyway, the food is all fantastic. You also have the quick service up top. But that's another little hidden gem, is that if you want to kind of get away from it all, but still have the atmosphere and people watch, that little koi pond area as you work your way up the steps or the ramp going towards the small bathrooms on the left-hand side of the pavilion by the pagoda is gorgeous. Just to hear the running water trickle down. It's completely covered by trees, so you're in the shade. There's some tables, so you can, like, you know, work on your phone or charge or grab a bite to eat and sit there, or grab a sake flight and sit there, and you could watch people walking by on one direction or in the pavilion over on in a 90-degree angle.
It's a great spot.
I love it, that little area up there. Yeah. The bathrooms aren't the best in Japan. That's where they really lack. So you probably just want to go over to America, where we've already talked about
America, where we have all that space
America,
and like a 240 horsepower flush. You know, back in
the bathrooms in Japan are a little, which is funny because all people talk about, if they actually go to the country of Japan and not in Epcot, is how great their bathrooms are. And of course, in the Japan pavilion, we get the worst bathrooms, but it's fine. I can go to Japan, the real place, one day. I love the idea that you walk over a moat to get into Mitsukoshi, and that there's the big pieces of the warriors on the side, the art pieces or the statues. I like that shop too. I like that inside there's things happening. It is a bustling mall shop of sort. Like, you have people trying on robes or looking at the swords or getting a pearl popped open, and then everyone's clapping. And what size pearl did you get with the pearl oysters? And just, there's so many bright colors, and it's just a fun shop to walk through. I don't really normally like walking through shops. I'm not a big shopper, or I'm not a big merch guy, but this is just fun because there's an energy in the air. And again, as everyone's mentioned, I love that little sake shop outside, the little hut. You got to do a sake flight. It's so much fun. The price is decent. And it's a perfect pick-me-up on this point of your World Showcase journey. So if you're into sake, maybe you're not. And there's 3 different types. They have a very dry, they have more of a boutique-y, small production sake in the middle, and then a sweet, unfiltered sake in the finish. It's fun. If you don't like sake, go with me. I'll drink it whatever you don't finish. So yeah, Japan, great time. I always stop in Japan. If it's a festival, I usually grab sushi or something in the outside booth, but I normally hit the sake. I know other people too, other friends like Eric, go inside for the sake, but normally there's a longer line, or you only have to pick one. I don't like making decisions. Just give me 3 in a flight, and I'm happy.
Last few times I've gone, they didn't have that, like, the citrus sake, which is kind of a favorite. Last few times they didn't have it anymore. I don't know if they got rid of it permanently or what. And they used to have that. Was it called unfiltered or the like rocket fuel sake? Yeah, that one. Whew.
Yeah, I think is it Nagori? I believe it might be Nagori. I could be wrong. Someone in the chat, I'm sure, knows better than I do. But all right, so we've got Japan's amazing. Plus, it's also one of the only pavilions that are 2 stories. So that's another added bonus. Yeah. Like, no other pavilion can you go to a 2nd story. So that's kind of cool. And it's a great firework viewing spot. If you don't know this, if you are dining at Tokyo Dining or Teppanydo, and there's fireworks that are about to happen, they'll actually pause your meal for you, let you go outside and watch, and then come back into your table when it's over. So that's another neat little hack as well. All right, so we've enjoyed Japan. We're heading over to Morocco, one of the most beautiful pavilions, in my opinion, built by the King of Morocco's people, his engineers, his architects, his artisans. What are you guys eating, drinking, and experiencing when you're in Morocco?
So I know that, like, on News Tonight, we make fun of the Spice Road table a lot because, like, nobody's ever there and whatever. But like, that's a little secret. It's better probably when Illuminations was still going, but now with Epcot Forever, you can book a table, and we were able to get a table. Like, we only booked it a couple days ahead of time. We booked a table like for a late dinner, and we were on the water, like in the outdoors on the water while the show was going on right there. And I thought the food was excellent. I'm a little disappointed in their bar there, because to have all this space, and it's a beautiful bar, and there's nowhere to sit. They should take half of that dining room, turn into like seating for the bar, because it's a place I wouldn't mind hanging out. But right now, it's just you go and you got this gorgeous bar, and then you just kind of stand there, get a drink, and walk away. Keep us around a little. I'll stay. You know.
What about you guys? What are you eating, drinking, experiencing in Morocco?
I'm kind of with him on that. Like, Spice Road Table is actually on my list, but it is a little weird when you walk past and it's completely empty in there. But I mean, it seems like it's a beautiful spot. Like, I would love to sit there and eat and have some drinks. So that's definitely going to be on my list for my next trip. And just walking around that pavilion is beautiful, looking at all the mosaics and things.
What about you, Allison?
Spice Road Table is one of only, I think, like 4 table service restaurants that I haven't eaten at yet, so it's 100% on my list. I love looking at the mosaics. Those are really beautiful. I like, we got ourselves an incense burner, and like, you know, not too long before the parks were closing, and now I can light it, and I'm like taken back to Morocco, and it makes me think of Morocco by smelling it in my living room. And I went to Restaurant Marrakesh once, and you can get dining reservations there. I mean, sometimes you can, yeah, very, very easily. Like sometimes day of, you can just walk up and, you know, depending on the day. But I really enjoyed their food. I thought the food was really good. It was different. And they have the dancers inside Restaurant Marrakesh, and they were kind of fun. I liked it. I thought I enjoyed myself there.
Yeah, so Morocco for me is another like must stop, and it's not really I don't think I ever eat there, and I just never have. I also date Lauren, who's a very picky eater, so sometimes I'm not sure if I want to gamble with that $40 for her meal. But if you go to the back, Restaurant Marrakesh, you made a great point, normally does walk-ins, and you can get a reservation same day, and from what I've heard, everyone says the food is good. I've just popped in to check it out and to look at it because I was like, how do I not know what this place looks like once I moved down here? Because it's buried all the way in the back of the pavilion. But it's really cool when you go inside. Like, can I just take a peek around? I just want to see what it looks like. They let you come in. I had one cast member give me a tour. There was a belly dancing performance going on while people were eating. It's very cool back there. I like this whole pavilion is just gorgeous to walk through. I love a nice... if you're with people or if you're just looking for a cocktail that you personally enjoy, they have a full bar right there next to the Spice Road Table. That bar you can walk into and order anything you want. So it's not like you have to order a themed beverage. You want a Tito's and soda, you go in and get a Tito's and soda. You want a certain kind of beer, they have like besides the, what is it? The Casa beer, I believe is their beer native to that pavilion. But if you want to just get like a Bud Light, or they have a beer menu, you want like a glass of Cabernet, they have that too. You don't have to get something Moroccan at Spice Road Table. And they take Tables in Wonderland, they do double pours for that $2 double. So if you want a double for $2, it's a great deal. I agree with you. It's a good point that Spice Road Table doesn't normally have a very big crowd out on that patio. So it would be nice to be able to take a drink and go out to the patio and sit down. This is amazing because out of all of us, I guess none of us have been actually dining at Spice Road Table. So it's also on my list. So we'll have to go. Maybe next time we're in Town Alley, we'll sit down and go, or one of you guys. But I have to check that out too. I love it. There's the Aladdin meet and greet in the back and Princess Jasmine. Walking through the shops. I love the way the shops feel like you're in an outdoor market.
Yeah.
I love the smells, the feels, the bathhouse. When you go into the bathhouse. You know, someone would say that's just like a wasted space, but it's just such a cool, beautiful room just to hang out in. Like they designed that room before Instagram, people. Like it was just beautiful.
There's a dune buggy ride there right now. Have you been on a dune buggy ride? They have.
I've been on the broken dune buggy. You can't turn left or right. You can't brake. That's in there. So they're doing the exhibit right now in Morocco is like a dedication to the races across like the desert. I guess they have exhibits of the foot races they do, the endurance races, and then they also have this big. You can drive a dune buggy over the sands of Morocco, but you're not really driving. It's never worked while I've been there. So you can just watch people doing it, and it's funny to watch. And it's air conditioned. Another nice little air conditioner handout.
Phone charging available.
And apparently, I just found this out as well, is that they have their own custom coffee blend in Morocco that they do with partnership in Joffrey's. You can only get this coffee blend at the back market in the Morocco Pavilion next to the quick service area. You see is if you've been in there, there's like this pastry display, but they have their own coffee, and apparently it is really delicious and really strong. I normally only drink espresso, so I'm interested in trying this out when we go back to the parks. I just learned it a few weeks ago, so excited about that.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Definitely try that.
So now we're in France. We're making our way around. What are we loving in France? There's a lot to unpack in France. I feel like France, and this is before they even open, the Ratatouille ride. There's a lot happening in this pavilion. I'll let you guys go first, and I'll kind of pick up the slack. What are you guys doing when you're in France? Go ahead, Allie.
I'll go.
You can go first. Or Allison.
Allison, go.
Go ahead.
Okay. I've eaten at Chef de France and Monsieur Paul. They were very nice. We actually booked Monsieur Paul the night that Epcot Forever, it was supposed to be their first night, and we're like, new nighttime show, like Mr. Paul, like let's get like a window, and then we can watch like Epcot Forever. And this is the first night debut, and we were all excited. And then we got a window seat. Pete's gone. What happened?
I refuse to be a part of Epcot Forever conversations. No, go ahead.
I didn't know. I didn't know anything about Epcot Forever. This is night one. So we got a window seat. We were really excited, and then we had absolutely no idea that there were so many trees, and we could not. They were all blocking the windows, and we could not see anything. So we could not see Epcot Forever basically at all. Eventually, I saw it later, and then understood a little bit more about what it was. I love the bakery in the back. They have lovely pastries and like fruit tarts, and all the French desserts are just, they're delicious. I love it. The cheeses, the desserts, I'm all about it.
Yeah. I haven't eaten at Monsieur Paul. I've been to Chef de France. Good food. I liked it. I don't think it wasn't like a memorable, culinary experience for me, but it was good. I really love Impressions de France. So that's like my favorite film at Epcot. And I'll say this, and maybe it's a hot take, I don't know. The Beauty and the Beast sing-along is the worst thing at Epcot. It is terrible. I would rather do the dune buggy in Morocco and use the Japanese bathrooms and drink in Norway than sit through that Beauty and the Beast sing-along ever again. And
it's the worst thing, I think, on property. I think it's the worst attraction.
It's offensively bad. Like, it's just like they just went like, I don't know, hey, intern Bob, throw something together for this movie. And 3 days later, that's what we got. I'm sorry.
I hate it.
I know people work hard on this. I hate to trash other people's work, but it was probably not bad work. It's probably just a bad idea. So that sucks. But I'll grab a Kronenberg while I'm there. My mom and my sister and my friends usually like to get the Grand Marnier slushy or the Grey Goose slushy. Those are very good. And maybe a crepe if I've had a few. So that's kind of my France experience.
Mine's very similar to that. We're heading to the back and getting a couple pastries, and then heading back out to the front to probably grab a chocolate crepe and a Grand Marnier slushie. I love those slushies.
Good.
Yep. Find a nice table and find some breeze. Yep. Love the slushies.
The slushies are a crowd favorite. It's hard to miss when people are like, what should I drink here? I tend to say, all right, try the Grand Marnier or the Grey Goose slushy. Again, or if they're beer drinkers, I love having Cronies with my homies. So the Kronenberg is delicious. One of the better beers around the World Showcase. A couple of things about France. One, again, if there is a festival happening, they have that booth that is there year-round. Now, they don't even move it anymore. There's usually some pretty cool / interesting food options as well as beverage options. They do mix it up pretty well, which means sometimes I feel like you will get those misses. But when it hits, there are some delicious food and drink options there in France if it's a festival going on. So I always recommend trying something new there. Something I did in a trip this year, which I've never done before, is I didn't realize the ice cream shop in the back, which I try to skip dessert. I save my calories because I drink my way through my calories. But if you are a dessert person, the ice cream shop is amazing. The ice cream is legit. Yeah. But what I didn't know is that you can get your ice cream made into a beverage. So like they will put like a scoop of ice cream in like a martini glass and pour like Pinnacle whipped cream vodka over the top. And that is a freestanding pour. They don't measure those. That was like the strongest beverage I think I've ever gotten at a million. Yeah, I'm sitting there like I could barely like put my, and I was using like a spoon. I couldn't drink it. I was like putting a little bit on like a teaspoon at a time. I'm like, holy sweet sassy molasses. So if you have a sweet tooth and you also are like want to have a little boozy dessert, that's a nice little stop. I do like walking through the back. I had never even got into the back, what I call the French cafeteria, when you're leaving Impressions to France.
Yeah.
Apparently their sandwiches are banging. All my friends say like that's a great spot to get a sandwich, that they're delicious if you're looking for something on the go. So that's a nice little place back there. I find also another great air conditioning spot. There's some tables set back from there. There's a little shop. I do like walking through there. It's also the last stop on the wine walk. So if you're finishing your wine walk, you can go into the little wine shop in there. In my opinion, the tastiest of all the wines. But again, this is France. So, you kind of expect that. Nothing against Italy or German wines, but the wines they serve for the wine walk could be better in the other pavilions. That's all I'm saying.
After all, this is France. They have a beautiful France.
Who knows if the guys on the chairs are coming back? Amusement, serveur. I hope they do. They're iconic. They're on the poster that they literally just released a few days ago. That the $100 poster. They are the focus. So I don't know how you get rid of them now, but hopefully we see them when we come back. They are icons around the World Showcase. They make people like when my mother first saw it, like, I can't even watch this. This is too dangerous. It's great. France is fun. It's a nice little stop. I also enjoy when I am at a festival sitting along the water when people are watching people coming in and out of the World Showcase through the International Gateway and watching now that you have the Skyliner taking off and there's beautiful greenery and whatnot. It's just a nice little pavilion. So France, great food, great eats, great drinks, great atmosphere. And
I'm going to warn you now. I'm not going to make it to. I'm not going to make it to Canada. Just so
that's
you know,
fine. Whenever you got to go, you got to go.
Yeah. It's a party.
Just go where you got to go. But now we're in the UK, which is the reason we're doing this segment, was we had Cara from the UK on the show. So let's talk United Kingdom Pavilion. What are we eating? What are we drinking? What are we doing when we are in the UK? Let's go around the horn the other way. We'll start with Allie, and we'll go back up to me.
So this is my other half's favorite pavilion. So usually what we're doing is he will head into Rose and Crown and find somewhere to post up for a little bit. I'll grab some fish and chips outside, head in with the fish and chips because it's a little bit cheaper and a little bit better to get it outside, I think. And then we are posted up there for a good few hours, getting a whiskey flight, drinking some Guinness, black and tans. I actually found they have sangria there that if I want something a little sweeter, I'll drink the sangria, and that's pretty much our afternoon.
It's a solid afternoon.
Yeah.
I also like we said, that's usually my starting point. So I start there. I might do a little whiskey real quick. I definitely want to do a Guinness at some point too during the day. If I hit it again at the end of the day and I've had too much to drink, I'm probably going to eat fish and chips. A little grease to soak things up. But I love the UK. I love the Rose and Crown. It's one of those places that if you take somebody who's never been to Epcot but likes to go out and have a good time, that you want to introduce them to the Rose and Crown early, because you'll get around the world and they'll be having a great time, but inevitably they're going to say, let's go back to the Rose and Crown. So it's fun.
Allison.
All right. I haven't actually eaten inside the Rose and Crown. Every time I get a table, it's kind of like outside, kind of where the water is, which is lovely. Area. Yeah, I love the pad. Oh, it's very nice. And great food. I think they have like a corned beef and cabbage, which is delicious. And they have one of my favorite drinks on property, which is a pub blend. It is a cider and black. So it's hard cider, and then they throw a shot of black currant juice in there. So it's super sweet. I love it. And I do like walking around the shops too. Are very nice. The Twinings tea shop is nice. They have all different kinds of different teas, and I always grab a box for home when I go there.
Yeah, the cider. If you like the cider and black, also Lee gets a snake bite there, which is kind of good for people that don't like beer. That try the snake. I don't remember what's in a snake bite. I just went blank, but it's similar.
Is that the one with? Yeah, I'll let you look that up. So here's what I'm doing.
Half cider,
on the UK.
half harp.
There you go, cider and harp. Like a sweeter beer, and harp's your traditional lager.
Guys, I have to go. I apologize, Pete. It's been great.
No worries, Eric. Thanks for stopping by the party.
I'll see you soon. Hopefully Saturday.
Bye.
Okay, guys.
Cheers.
Bye.
Peace and love. Eric's leaving. All right. So when I'm in the UK, for me, again, I like to start and kind of end, like Eric said, but I'm pretending like I started in Mexico. But I usually start at the UK and finish at the UK because I go in and out of the International Gateway. So I just love to kind of feel the crowd. Sometimes it may be a little overcrowded, but I don't mind it when I'm inside the Rose and Crown. I'm hanging out for Carol. If Carol's there, we're going to sit. We're going to watch her do some crowd work, have a couple beers in that air conditioning. Again, another place that does Tables of Wonderland discount. So you get a discount there if you're a Tables of Wonderland member. And they can make you anything. So this is a great place to take anyone in your party if they're kind of a picky eater or drinker. You also can order food to the front of the bar, and they'll kind of give you like just a number to put on your table if you are looking for just a quick bite to eat and you can't get a table back in the restaurant, which is nice. Personally, again, I'm not a big fan of most of the English food except for those fish and chips. Great tip by Allie to grab your fish and chips outside at that little booth and then come back in. Those fish and chips are probably the best thing in the UK, and they're not that expensive. They're reasonably priced. I love a lot of things about the UK Pavilion. I just kind of like to grab a beer, and if it's nice weather or if it's just like a little too crowded in the bar and I want to wait until a few people thin out just to walk around, so I'll grab a half and half, which is a Guinness and Harp combo. And I'll walk through the shops. I'll see what kind of new football gear they have on, or well, I should say European football, soccer, whatever we call it here. Go through, kind of watching people doing the meet and greet with Winnie the Pooh, which is back when that's going on in the back. Most of the time, I'll try to time this around a British Revolution performance. I know that they were cut recently, which is really unfortunate, but that used to be like just a nice time. Like while I'm waiting for the bar to thin out, walk around, hear some live music, dance, sit in the shade. It's a fun pavilion. And then even like the little tea shop, like I've met the guy from Twinings a few times. He's been there like giving out samples and chatting with people, taking pictures. Like his and his last name is Twining. I think it was like his great grandfather started the company or something like that.
Wow.
So it's just a cool little pavilion. And again, obviously, like to me, it's all about the Rose and Crown. That is the anchor of this pavilion. I don't even know what this pavilion would be like if they didn't have the Rose and Crown. It's just a great spot. It can get crazy. A little warning for those who don't like crowds or a little bit of mayhem is that if you were here at the end of the day, a lot of people are finishing up their drinking around the world. They know this is a bar. It's a very authentic pub atmosphere. I'll put it that way.
Yes,
so you might want to leave maybe the kids outside unless it's a little thinned out. Peek your head in the door, see what the crowd is like. If you want to see Carol in a little bit of a less crowded sense, I would say get there before 5 p.m. But I'm going to say from 5 till 9, it's a fun crowd inside, a little rambunctious, but it's a great time. I love that now they have the Ireland booth for food and wine and some of the other festivals.
Yep.
That Guinness milkshake is the bomb diggity. Go
So
get
good.
yourself a Guinness milkshake. Yeah, it is so good.
So good.
And then lastly, we made it around the world. We finish up in Canada. The first thing you see if you're heading that way is the stage. Allison, you mentioned that you like the band there. I enjoy the live music too. Even though I have no idea what they're singing half the time, and they also change the kind of bands that are there. Sometimes you'll have songs in straight up French and they'll be like hard rock, but other times they'll be more acoustic. But just give me live music. I'll take live music all day, and it's cool because you can hear it from the UK or in Canada. So love hearing that band and then making my way in. A lot of people love the Ottawa Apple at Canada. That's not really my thing. I'm a fan of Les Celliers, but it can be pricey if you do it pretty often. Yeah. So for me, the drink I'm getting is I actually go up the steps into the souvenir shop on the left, and there's all the merchandise and whatnot. But there's a little stand in the back of that souvenir shop that sells beers right out of a cooler, and it's bottled beer, Canadian bottled beer. The price is right. It's quiet. Usually nobody is in there. You can just walk up and order whatever you want. Grab yourself a beer. They'll pour it in a cup for you, and you can have a drink within seconds. And then you can continue your walk through Canada, down around the waterfall, go see the new Canada Far and Wide movie in Circle Vision. And then, just walk through the beautiful Canadian gardens. I think everyone knows at this point, one of the best values at a festival is they do the beer soup with the pretzel bread, which they serve at Les Celliers. It's available at the stand outside. And that is off the hook. Another little fun carny hack. It's never enough bread if you just want to keep dipping it. So I always ask for an extra roll or piece of bread, whatever they're serving with it, and they'll do it for you most of the time for no charge. So that's a fun little tip.
Good to know.
What about you guys? What do you like in Canada?
Similar. I would grab a beer. We do like Les Celliers. It is pricey, but we thought it was very good. Loved the ambiance. That beer cheese soup is so good. So good. And then I was thrilled because we finally got to do Food and Wine Festival. I always get to do it out here at Disneyland, but finally got to do that last year and got the little steak bite and the soup, and it was just almost like being there. So love Canada. And of course, a lot of live music. Anything music is always in for.
Absolutely. What about you, Allison?
Yep.
Yeah, that one of my favorite things is, like I said earlier, is the live music. They're just so much fun. I love being over there with the music. I've eaten at Les Celliers once or twice. I haven't in a long time. I always want to go to the food booth, but like, my goodness, the line is just so long to get the tiny little mini steaks and the soup. But like, if I time it right, I'm there. And I'm really glad that, I don't know when they did this, but now they have 2 sides for that food booth, because I guess it just became so popular. It didn't always have 2 sides to it. So I thought that was very smart of them. And one of the things that I love going to Canada for are all the different wonderful maple treats that they have. They have maple caramels and maple cookies and maple syrup and maple scented this and that. I love it.
Like drinking out of the tree.
Yep.
Yeah. Canada's awesome. The booth is a little bit of a wait, and it's honestly like there's really no tip I can give you for time of day, because some people do start going that way when they come down the Future World Spine and make the right. So you get the early crowd and the late crowd. The only time I've seen this kind of manageable is if you go on like an off day, like go on like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday or something like that. Is usually the lines are a little bit shorter. But yes, I mean, Canada's bumping out some of the best food. They're using the same cuts of meat that they use at Les Celliers, so the steak is good, the soup is good, and also they have great beer and wine options outside as well. So definitely worth checking out. I will say, I'm going to give us a little bonus since we're going around the world. Refreshment port we didn't mention, which would be the next little stop you would see on your left-hand side before you make your way back to Future World. And if you are hungover in the morning, or if you're starting your day, or if you're just a fan of Bloody Marys, they have the best Bloody Mary at Epcot at the refreshment port. It's not as crowded anymore now that they moved the bathrooms back behind Starbucks. The new bathrooms and the new Starbucks is right there. You can get up there and grab yourself a Bloody Mary. Then, depending on what festival it is, it's available year round. But if there's a festival going on, they like jazz it up with some fun stuff. So you might get like a full chicken tender, a piece of shrimp. You're obviously getting like the celery, the piece of bacon. There's always fun stuff in there. They change up the Bloody Mary for the festivals. It's a cool little stop. And usually the food isn't terrible either if you're looking for a quick bite. The lobster chips they had during the last festival were insane. And I was shocked with how much lobster you got.
Really good.
Oh, it was so good. So yeah, definitely check out the refreshment port. And again, you have the Starbucks and the brand new bathrooms there too. Those bathrooms are pretty decent as well. Besides that, I mean, we're already in overtime. Did we miss anything going around the World Showcase? Final thoughts? What did I miss?
Do you have any other tips for accomplishing drinking around the world?
So yeah, we should have brought this up, is that I would say if you're drinking around the world and you're really trying to drink around the world, you have to know your own limits, number one. I've kind of talked about this when I did the Pete segment on WDWNT News Tonight. You have to kind of know your limits. I would say make sure you're not just drinking, you are eating, whether you're snacking as you go around the world or you have some built-in meals to kind of sit down and put a good meal in your belly. You want that. Also, water is so key. It is so hot in Florida and you will become dehydrated so quickly. If possible, bring a large water bottle, a refillable water bottle on your trip. You should be using this in all the parks anyway because it's hot. But you can go to any quick service and ask for cups of water and constantly be filling that up. And there's quick service in almost every pavilion. Whether you're in Mexico, you can go up to the cantina. Can I have 2-3 cups of water, please? And just pour the cups of water into your water bottle. When you're in Norway, you can go into the bakery and ask for water. When you're in China, you can go into the inside quick service area there. All around the World Showcase, there's water. And you should be, and I'm not even kidding you when I say this, you should be having equal water that you have to your beverages. You need it in the hot Florida sun. And that is really the trick to making it around the world and still being okay. This is not bragging because it's more of a problem, but like on times my friends have challenged me to do 2 laps around the World Showcase. That is really my trick, is just a ton of water, not more small meals because you get very full from all that liquid, but lots of water. You got to hydrate is my famous joke to my friends. You got to hydrate to dehydrate. So make sure you're drinking tons of water. You cannot have enough water. There are tons of bathrooms in the World Showcase. Water. It's super hot. And just have someone that you're friends with. Be cool with someone. There has been times where, and I've been going to Epcot for many years now, where I may have had just one drink too many. And they're like, maybe it's a good time that we just take a break somewhere, find a quiet spot, have some more water, or let's exit the park, take a power nap somewhere, and come back later on. So my advice there would be go with someone you trust, have a buddy, take care of each other. I don't think anyone's object should be to get completely wasted. That's not fun. If it happens naturally and everyone's laughing and they're smiling and you're drinking around the world, sure, you're going to be intoxicated, but the whole point of Epcot is it should be fun. You should be laughing, having a good time, not sloppy and messy, and you don't want to be the guy making a scene at the end of the World Showcase. So that's it. That's all I got. I feel like we covered everything. There was a solid trip around the world, a solid show. Thank you both so much for being here. Allison, Allie, thanks to Eric for stopping by. Of course, thanks to Carol Stein, our special guest today, who came in, the former hat lady, the now piano lady at the United Kingdom Pavilion, the Rose and Crown. Big thank you again to Tyler for making my graphics and animated graphics. Huge thank you to Kevin, our voice in the sky, our man who we can't do this about, who's running things behind the scenes for us, bringing all of us in and out and running our commercials and setting up the show for me every single week. Thank you so much to Kevin. Sadly, this might be Kevin's last week. I'm going to try and bribe him, but he's got a lot of work coming up. He's getting back into the real world as we slowly reopen the country. So if I don't get Kevin back, a big sincere thank you, Kevin. I love you so much. I couldn't have done the show without you. So thanks, buddy. With that being said, if you like the show, if you hate the show, if you think the show is just right in the middle where it should be, shoot me an email, pete@WDWNT.com. I love your feedback. I have been getting lots of emails, so thank you so much. Just say hi. I would love to hear from you guys. And if you do like the show, again, or have any thoughts about any of the shows for WDWNT Live as we kind of wrap these live shows up, those emails I will forward to Tom as well. So I'll make sure he gets them. Big, again, huge shout outs to everyone who did our super chats. And again, this show's not possible without all of you watching at home. So you guys are the show. You are the party. I love you all. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't done it already. And that's it for this party. We are back next week. I love you. Take care of each other. And please wash your hands. This is Party with Pete. See you next week.
Hey!